Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Questing for Glory 2021 Hope and Healing event number 2. Up next, we have a run of Xenoblade Chronicles X by Yamagishi. Take it away.
Okay?
Do you want to introduce yourself, Magishi?
話していいですか？
どうぞどうぞ。
Hello everyone. 皆さんこんにちは。I'm Yamagishi, Xenoblade Chronicle X runner. ゼノクロランナーの山岸です。I joined in this event with the intention of breaking my own world record. 今回は自分のワールドレコードを更新するためにこのイベントに参加しました。I'll do my best to play well. うまくいくようにベストを尽くします。The timer started when I decided on my name. タイマースタートはアバターの名前を決定した後開始となります。Thank you for all your support. Let's enjoy. 皆さん応援よろしくお願いします。楽しんでいきましょ
よろしくお願いします。
う。よろしくお願いします。
Yep, and I am Vaxford. I will be translating for. I'll be helping with commentary, also translating for Yamagishi-san as he goes through the run. It's going to be a very unique run. I think we're going to be. You're going to really enjoy what's going to go on. We'll explain just quite what's so unique about it as we get to those points. Also, Legrand is
Yes.
going to be helping out. Yeah, Legrand, you have done a lot more Xenoblade X running than I have, so I'll leave most of the the run commentary to you, and fill in on the online parts as we go.
Yes. It's going to be a very, very interesting run. Yeah, if you've seen most of like Xenoblade X run before, you've probably seen offline categories before, but this one is online, and you'll see how much interesting and different this run is compared to offline speedrun.
It's a great run. Right away we're going to be getting the name entered, and the timer will be starting as soon as Yamagishi-san confirms the name here. So you want it ready on that. 山岸さん、カウントダウンを決定のカウントダウンをしていただければいいと思います。So we're going to get started here in just a second.
Yeah. Give us Xenoblade X2 Microsoft,
Yes.
please.
Yes, please. This game so deserves a sequel.
じゃあカウントダウン開始します。3、2、1、スタート。
Go.
All right. So Xenoblade X. This game is absolutely not related to any other Xenoblade games or Xenogears or Xenosaga. This takes place on a whole new planet called Mira. Because like the humanity, the Earth got destroyed by aliens, so we had to leave, and now we are on a whole different planet. And yeah, we can jump and we can sprint, which is very, very cool because we're going to have to explore a lot, and it's going to be really interesting on that regard.
最初にソウルボイスが出たのはいいですね。
So we got a soul voice there at the very beginning. That's going to save us a bit of
ソウルボイ
time.
スいいですね。
And then another one. So yeah, we are getting some good luck to start out with.
So if you've ever played Xenoblade, then
ここで TP が1000あるので次の戦いが楽になります。
And we've built up to 1,000 TP here, and that's going to help out in the next battle as well. There's a lot of details here that Legrand and I will get into as we go here. Very complex system.
So like like Xenoblade 1, you have auto attacks, right? You can, if you don't do anything, then you're going to, your character is going to do auto attack. Also, this jump nicely done. Wow, this jump is really hard to do properly. Good job on that.
Making it look easy.
Oh yeah, there's been so many runs that I've resetted to this jump. And so you've got auto attacks, and whenever you feel like you're ready, you can use arts that are going to either dish out some damage, give you some TP, heal yourself a little bit, give you stat boosters, etc. So you've got quite a lot of depth in that game system. And we'll get to see it more later on. So what Yamagishi is going to do mostly for movement is what you're seeing now. So it's not faster to sprint, what's faster is to jump while sprinting, and it's even faster to be jumping while sprinting while starting a battle with your weapon drawn out, because you're going to have more movement forward and less upward, if that makes sense. So the routing is made so that we are always something to target. Oh,
敵に見つかったんでちょっとロスです。
Yeah. One of the issues here with the sprinting is that we are, of course, still staying at a low level, and if an enemy sees you, often you'll get that you'll get stunned like that, and that's a huge time loss because you saw how how he just couldn't move for a few seconds. And compared to this fantastic sprinting movement, yeah, it's really frustrating when it happens, but got away from it, and yeah. So it's worth pointing out that you're seeing Yamagi-san target all of these enemies. He's not going to attack them. That's just so that you can keep your weapon out. Because, as we're going to say, for whatever reason, it's faster to jump, to do this sprint jumping when you have your weapon out, as opposed to when you don't. So lots of neat movement tech in this game we're seeing already.
So the second story boss fight, Strict Rexes. So you're going to see Yamagishi target the head of the. Oh, okay, I did not. It's fine. So the reason why we are playing as Elma instead of our own character is because Elma is level 5 and your character is level 3. On top of that, Elma has some really good arts compared to the main character, which really just sucks at this moment. Well, Elma is just very strong and is able to deal with this fight really effectively. So yeah, as I was explaining, you can see the Grexes. We are targeting an appendage of the Grex. Nice, done. So you can target some specific parts of enemies in this game.
以外は売っちゃいます。
So these just selling off all of the extra things. Most of what Yamagi-san gets from battles, he's going to be selling because that's where the online part's going to be playing. Probably 20 or 30 minutes, maybe not even that long. We'll start seeing that, but just keep that in mind for now.
Yeah. So yeah, you can target appendages, and on this fight it's interesting because some appendages are going to give you damage multiplier if you target them, and so that was mostly what Yamagishi was trying to do. Need a little skip here, skipping the stairs, and we're on to New Los Angeles, which is the home that we have on this planet. Basically part of the battleship that landed, well, crashed on Miura. And I hope you guys enjoy the music from Hiroyuki Sawano-san. It's a fantastic soundtrack.
The soundtrack is wonderful. Yes, absolutely.
You're supposed to jump on
手の
the
間にはまっちゃいました。
Yes. Yeah,
containers.
slight miss there. Yeah, he trying to jump on top of the trailers and instead landed between them, so had to kind of walk around a bit.
珍しいんですけどね。
Rare mistake, but yeah, as we all know, mistake time. You can see that was just a very tiny time loss. Just had to walk around it.
So we're joined by our third main party character that we are going to see throughout the run, which is Lin.
エルマの装備を入れ替えます。
So Lynn just joined us, as Legrand was saying, as a third party member. It's going to be our main party throughout the run. You saw Yamagishi-san doing a bit of equipment swapping. Just coincidentally, when you put Lynn's equipment is a bit stronger than Elma's, so when you do the optimize equipment thing, Elma ends up with Lynn's equipment, Lynn ends up with Elma's. So if you've seen this game before and you know how the characters look, you may be a little bit confused. That's what speedruns are. So enjoy.
Yeah, to be more precise, Lynn's equipment gives melee attack boost, and Elma mostly does melee attack damage, while Lynn is the other way around, and Elma's equipment is giving you range damage up. So since there is two different types of equipment in this game, you've got guns and you've got swords. So close combat and distance, and you can swap with them throughout the run. And some arts are going to be for your close combat weapon, and others are for your guns. It kind of makes sense. So introducing Nagi with the Blade operative, I think. Something like that. Like
yes, he's the sort of de facto leader of the Blade project, which is kind of the overall organization that everyone here belongs to as they're trying to explore and create this new settlement for humanity on planet Mira. A lot of characters you'll be seeing over and over. So try to point them out as they first pop up.
Yeah, like we just landed on the planet no one knows about anything about, so we have to explore, find materials, etc. And the Blade is here to do all of that, basically. And this console here is going to be very important because that's what's going to link us with other blades. And by that, I mean every other player that is going to be connected online, we are going to be able to see them here. Because we will be able to... it's going to be quite interesting.
And so you've already finished the first chapter of the game. The game is divided into 12 chapters, some of them... a bit longer or shorter than others. The first one's kind of an introduction, so you finished it pretty quickly. Going to move straight on with the stories. The important thing here is to essentially unlock this online component. And I think that is the end of chapter 3, if I recall correctly, Legrand?
It's after Glenar, so that's... after chapter 3.
Chapter 3, yeah. And we'll get into that in more detail as we get closer. But essentially, we're going to have Yamagishi-san has a number of other folks who are actually online at this moment who are going to be helping him out. Yeah. どうぞ、Yamagishi-san.
潜在頭と潜在ブーストの武器と防具が出てるので、鑑賞が終わったらもらいます。
So that is the first of the online bits we're going to be hearing. We're going to be hearing Yamagishi-san break in like that a lot, and that is to communicate with his the players who are going to be helping him out. He's just he's got four helper players. We'll introduce them later as well, who are actually online farming out equipment that they will then send to him through this online system, which is a really fascinating thing you can do. What he just announced is that players have found a piece of looks like a melee weapon and a helmet with particular properties, mainly potential up. Potential being, I believe, potential boosts arts damage, doesn't it, Laurent?
It boosts TP arts damage, to be more precise. And TP arts are the arts that are going to deal massive amounts of damage into the run.
Okay, and now we've got a quick menu from Yamagishi-san here to upgrade several arts for Elma and Lynn. Upgrading them gives additional damage, reduced cooldown, because Legrand mentioned the cooldown system. The faster the arts cool down, the faster you can use them again. So it's important to get those up. But yes, we mentioned TP, so I guess just a quick talk about that. You can build up TP during battle. You remember Yamagishi-san saying that he got 1,000 TP from that first battle, which is the amount you need to use TP arts. And by getting all of these pieces of equipment with potential up, it just really boosts the damage and makes the battles go that much faster. You're going to be really impressed by how quickly some of these later battles go. I know it blew my mind when I first saw this run.
Yeah, it's going to be very impressive if you've never understood exactly how the game the gameplay works in this game. You're going to be impressed, even if you played this game before. So quick little boss. It's really not too threatening. You just pummel it a bit, and it takes a while.
Oops! Looks like we have a fallen main character, but that's all right. As Elma will finish this off here, I'm sure. And of course, everybody's automatically revived after battles. So
yeah, still get the XP and
you still get everything. Yeah.
If you want to revive people in a battle, you need to use 3,000 TP in order to do that. And considering you want to use TP is really hard to build, and it costs 1,000 TP to use TP arts, which are the arts that are doing your damage. By the way, it's really just hard to try and revive people. On top of that, they don't really do much, especially Otter right now, who is really just a sandbag. This point.
Yeah, he'll have parts to play later, but for the most part, it's going to be one character that we're controlling, and the rest of the party members don't do all that much to help us out.
Right now, since damage hasn't scaled too much.
Just say.
ボイスチャットの日本人の皆さんにちょっと声かけしてました。
Hi. Okay, yeah. So just a quick note to the the supporters who are helping us out there as we go on. Yeah, we got a yeah. So why don't we talk a little bit more about that as well? As that's actually not going to be too far off. So the online side of this game, it is entirely playable offline, but the online component, it's not like if you think of an MMO, for example, it's not that sort of thing. It's not everybody in the same world. It is mostly just people who are connected to the same server, completing the same quests, for example. There are missions the game gives you that you can earn rewards from, and everybody in a particular squad, it's like a party, if you will, can earn points towards those missions, but that's kind of the limit. The other aspect of these squads, which is the one that really matters for this run, is it's possible to trade items. You recall how Yamagishi-san discarded all of his treasures he got from battle before. So what these other supporters are doing that I mentioned earlier, they're out fighting battles with specific monsters right now and trying to get particular weapon drops or armor drops. And when they get them, they're going to use that what's called the treasure deal functionality. It's the same in English, isn't it, Legrand? Treasure deals. Yeah. So and that'll let these other players send this weapon over to, well, technically anyone in the squad, but we've arranged for a small squad so no one else tries to jump in, grab it from the side, and that way Yamagishi-san can get these.
ここからテントウムシが出ることを祈ってください。
So we'll get back to that in a sec. That's the big online part. But right now, Yamagishi-san needs your prayers for RNG to find ladybugs. Because there's a lot of collections in this game, especially the first half, that are required for certain quests. And there are certain points you can only get certain items at certain points. And so this is a point where we can get I believe it's 6 that we need, isn't it?
Yes,
6 ladybugs. Speckled ladybugs. And we're going to really hope that we find all of those now. So if
Yes,
you want
it's,
to stick your blessed RNGs or whatever you have in chat, I'm sure Yamagishi-san will appreciate that.
So of course it's going to be written in Japanese on the bottom left, so I won't be able to tell. But
I'll
we
be.
need 6 in like 3-ish hours. So it's mostly prepping up for way later, but we'll have to come back here if we don't have enough at this point.
Yeah.
One.
So we got one. Start.
So those blue orbs here, it's absolutely impossible to know what they contain. But every somewhat zone of the game has a specific pool in which you can get items from, and this is one of the rare places in Primordia we're going to visit that has multi-spec ladybugs that we need later on. And so right now, what Yamagishi-san is doing, despite having a quest telling him to go to a certain place, he's doing some exploration here, and he's going around and capturing landmarks and spots to actually get exploration going. Because in order to actually progress the story, we are going to need some exploration percentage up. So for the whole run, we'll have to have 15% Primordia visited. And so in order to do that, we need to complete objectives on the map, which is like sometimes killing tyrants, big giant numbers, getting all those FN sites that you see, the big giant red orb, getting treasures, all that sort of things are going to help out on that regard. And it's going to be visible. I'm not sure if we have a gamepad display on the layout.
We do, although it's just a webcam.
Oh yeah, okay. So the gamepad we can see the percentage of progression, though you can only see it when we are outside of battle, which is kind of a shame because we're always in battle.
I will say, if as you're watching the stream, take a look out as every time Yamagishi-san does a skip travel, take a look at what he's doing on the gamepad. Because very often he will be doing things on the gamepad. He'll be setting data probes or selecting another map as the game is loading the next area. So there's our third ladybug as well. It's just amazing how well Yamagishi-san's optimized this run to just do all the things that he can do at once.
Oh yeah,
only 3 out of 6
is really low.
3. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We're gonna have to hope for better luck on the second pass.
Yeah, so basically this game is basically loadless. Even if you see loadings, you always have something to do in this run. So when you're done with your quick travel, you see there's a loading, and so you're going to plant probes and then prepare your next quick travel on the gamepad. So you always have something to do, and sometimes the loads just aren't long enough actually to prepare everything you want.
Indeed, yeah. People pan the Wii U's gamepad a lot, but this is a fantastic use of it. I think just when the main screen is, the game has to load all of the data for the next area. It still gives you something to do. Yeah. Unfortunately, all those optimizations don't help much if you can't get the ladybugs. So, yeah.
There isn't that many items that we need for collections. There is only like 4 or 5 that are going to matter, but ladybugs are just really annoying sometimes.
When they don't drop,
Yeah.
It's just nothing at all coming out here. Yeah. There's our 4th.
4.
Yeah. I think anyone who's run a Xenoblade game can relate to the idea of this one item that just refuses to drop, however many times you try to collect it.
But so far, basically everything that you're seeing here is basically the same as offline, and I know that I usually take a little bit of a bigger detour when exploring that part to get more chances at ladybugs, because even with the pathing that I take, I still have trouble getting all of them most of the time, so. But oh well. It's going to be time lost later on, but it's fine.
Yeah. RNG will be RNG.
Yeah.
Just try to
Something
work in as
really,
much of it. Yeah.
something really interesting with how enemies are loaded. So the bigger enemies, the longer they stay on screen. And so because of that, you're going to try and target the bigger one to stay in combat as long as possible. And that's how he managed to keep his weapon up for all that earlier sections, because he targeted Levitath, which are the big giant blue whales in the flying in the sky, because they stay for a really long time. So right now we can see Luciel, who's just chilling with his level 92. He's not going to arm you despite like attacking you on the side, because he can't see you because you're so small.
You're too small, yeah. Yeah, the scaling in this game is fantastic too. This game actually gave me one of my favorite deaths in a video game ever. I started playing. I was like level 6 or something. I was fighting some random stuff by a tree, and then the tree lifted up and stopped me for 100,000 damage. And I was like, wait, what happened?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, those stories.
There's a few memorable moments when playing Xenoblade games, and one of them is Rodbard in Xenoblade 1 or Xenoblade 2, and this game has also a very interesting enemy that will pass by later on. It's a very funny moment when you are explaining, like,
ザイア
oh,
武器は出た。
I'm-
デュアルガンが出ましたので、
どうぞ。
デュアルガンが、サポーターの方が出してくれたので、3章終わったらもらいます。
Okay, so that's Yamagishi-san again communicating with his supporters. They managed to farm out a gun, so we've now got both our melee and our range weapons that Yamagishi-san will be using for probably the rest of the run. And those, as we mentioned earlier, we can't get into the online mode until the end of Chapter 3. So what the supporters are doing, they're just sitting at the at the battle results screen, waiting for Yamagishi-san to say okay. And actually, he's been telling them here. What he was just saying to the to the supporters about the weapons is, I'll take those at the end of Chapter 3. So essentially, as soon as he gets to the online mode, they're going to use this treasure deal system to send the weapons over to Yamagishi-san, and he's just going to be able to get those without having to, because they're obviously, you can only get them from very high level enemies, and he'll be able to get those essentially for free. It's one of the things that makes the online run really fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this whole cooperation thing is really great. Not just for items either. Like, there's going to be quite a few moments where they will be able to participate in helping this run be as fast as it is, and that's going to be. And I found it super cool. If you can set it up with 3 or 4 friends, that is pretty great.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Very unique.
The fact that you can have, it's not just you can have friends helping you out, with the run, and basically sharing in the fun, sharing in the RNG when it doesn't go your way, when it doesn't go their way, and it makes this run really different from I think any other speedrun that I've seen. It's a fascinating twist on the on the gameplay concept.
So it's nighttime to fight alien, so the prawns, which are basically orcs, but they have guns. So we'll just have to slowly kill them with Lin's Fire Carnival, which is this attack, which does a lot of damage at this point. And what we're doing right now is building tier 2 art. So as you can see, every time Yamagishi-san has his swords out, the red arts, which are his sword arts, are getting good green outline. And once it hits everything, then that's secondary cooldown done, and that's going to effectively give arts plus 200 damage 200% damage, at least for the TPI. So it's very, very valuable to go for that secondary cooldown. And on top of that, so stream edge that we're trying to use so much, if it's following ranged art, so our sliding stinger attack,
サポーターの
it's going
皆
to
さん
deal a lot more damage.
Just wait, Legrand.
Yes.
Just wait.
サ
Goes
ポーターの皆さんに、最初のグイーンのところで頭もらって、原初の荒野で、資金2つもらって、その後武器2つももらえます。以上です。
Okay, so yes, again, Legrand communicating, or the Yamagishi-san communicating with the supporters, telling them a specific order, and the order is important because, whoops, I didn't quite make that. That's a very tricky jump to make, but you can only opt in on, or you can only bid on one deal at one of these treasure deals at a time. So if two happen to come in at the same time, then you lose out on one of them. And if, since it's very important that we get all of these items for the run to proceed, Yamagishi-san is telling his supporters, okay, this is the point, and this is also the order at which I'd like you to send the items. And so after, I think just a little bit after this fight, we'll be seeing that actually take place, and I'll point out the windows when they pop up. But first we have a boss fight.
Yeah, so Glenar, and it's the reason why we've been doing the exploration before the fight. It's because we kind of want to be level 8 by the start of this on every characters, so that Cross has, or Order has a little bit more chance to survive. He's not going to survive very long though. So there isn't any healing arts in this game. Well, there's like 2, but it's very, very limited. So whenever you lose HP, you lose it for good pretty much. Yeah, Otter is dead. So every time you're going to hit the soul voices, that's going to give you a little bit of HP, and every time you hit the B presses, that's going to give you a little bit of HP. And the game tells you at the start that it's what potential does for you. So it seems very, very useless, but it's actually also what is used for to find out the damage output of your TP arts, and it's not your ranged attack or your melee attacks, so it's actually very, very important to get as much potential as possible. And every point is going to give a very significant boost of damage, so even just one potential up is going to be important. Oh,
that could be a problem.
Yeah, so we are now going to hope that... Oh wait, no, Lynn had since 3002, so she could revive.
So we talked about the reviving earlier, and you were talking about how you rarely see it in speedruns. Well, there goes Yamagishi-san proving us wrong. When you need it, it comes out.
Lin-chan, nice.
Yeah, good job, Lynn. Really helped us out there.
Now time to find out portrait friend. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yep. Every now and then something goes right in the run, so let's all be happy about that. And we should be going right into the online part right now. So yeah, be pointing that out. And again, from this point for a little while now, Yamagishi-san's occasionally going to be interrupting us because it's very important that when the supporters do get an item, that they're able to let Yamagishi-san know, and Yamagishi-san's also able to tell them, this is where I want to receive it in this order. So keep that in mind, and I will also let you know how things go on that front.
If you've never seen how treasure deals work in this game, so you're going to see on the top right that someone is during the online, there's going to be a pop-up saying, hey, treasure deal and X weapons from said person, and you can just press. You can just press the minus button, I think, on the Wii U, and you can just get it straight away.
Yeah. So you see here, Yamagishi-san is joining the squad that all of his supporters are in, and now he's essentially joined this online party, if you will. The game calls them squads. They're effectively parties, except that you don't actually play with the people directly. It's all this indirect interaction. And pretty much as soon as we go out here, this guy's collecting party members here, going to go out, and you're going to see the first of those weapons thrown. I think just look at the top of the screen, you'll see the pop-up. It goes very quickly. Yamagishi-san's very good at at his inputs. But keep a close eye and you'll see that come in.
今2分遅れぐらいですね。
So we're about 2 minutes behind the behind Yamagishi-san's PB, and that's probably mostly because of the Tento Mushi, the ladybugs, and then that fight. But there's still plenty of time to make up, so I wouldn't worry at this point.
So at this point now we are going to do our first very big exploration section. And first off, we're going mechanical level 2. So when we're going to visit the world, we're going to get something that's called Blade XP. So Blade XP is just a way to tell for the game to tell you that hey, you're progressing for exploration, you're killing bosses, so you get a reward on that regard. And once you get a hit level, you can start getting some either mechanical level, biological, or archaeological levels that's going to allow you to gather some more treasures on the map. And mechanical is very important because that's what's going to allow us to get the FN sights, which are the big giant red beam, and that's where you can plant probes in order to mine properties. And we will want to hit mechanical streets throughout this exploration. Now, so the division we choose at the very beginning.
Okay, hang on. どうぞ。
原初の荒野行きます。
So we're going to see some pop-ups right here. どうぞ。
あ、ちょっとミスった。
Oh yeah, just got targeted, and now the annoying part of Xenoblade X happens where you are trying to run away from an enemy, and it takes forever. Approximately.
Yeah.
That was just that suit that we got like a few meters away.
はい、5個。
どうぞ。
今、ディールをもらおうと思ったけど、もらうのミスったかも。もう一個資金お願いすることになるかもしれないですね。
いいですか？
はい、大丈夫です。
Okay, so that was we were just seeing the deal there. If you saw that little pop up on the screen, there was another one right there. That is the weapons and also some other items that he's going to sell for money. That the Yamagishi-san's going to sell for money later. So unfortunately, the one problem with that enemy that he accidentally got into battle with is that may have taken out one of the treasure deals that he was trying to get, because the game will just ignore them if you're in battle, which is also a reason there's only specific times. どうぞ。
1個資金源をもらうのをミスったんですけど、サポーターの方が間に合わせてくれました。
Okay, so so the weapon that the item that Yamagishi-san was trying, it turned out he was able to get after all, so he managed to avoid that little problem. So again, the supporters just really reacting in real time. They're also watching a non-delayed live stream of this of Yamagishi-san's run and reacting in real time as these things happen. And so again, this is why it's not just the runner; it's also the skill of the supporters. To be able to recognize, what's going on. When is it safe to throw an item? When should we wait for something? And it's just seeing it all sync up really nicely like this is just a wonderful thing to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic when you get to set it up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was explaining. So we chose the Dividend Pathfinder. You can see on below the map. And so Pathfinder is getting more EXP when you plant probes, Blade EXP that is, when you plant probes, when you discover new regions, and considering that we're mostly going to do exploration, it works out nicely. On top of that, a feature that online has that offline doesn't is that when you so there is going to be a ranking of all divisions at every day, and the top one is actually going to have boosted Blade EXP throughout the run.
It's not actually the top division. What it is if you get more points for that division than you did the previous day, that is when the division gets boosted. And so actually that is a thing that's a great leading, because I wanted to mention that as well. Is that having the division boosted gives you double blade points for everything you do, and so that's one of the things that's imperative to make this run work, because you need to get mechanical skill level 4 by a certain point, and we use the doubled points for that. An interesting side effect of this, by the way, is that because you have to score more points than the previous day, Yamagishi-san can't just practice every day, because eventually it'll take so many points to build up that he won't be able to get it boosted. And obviously it's also, this is a real live server. There are lots of people around, throughout Japan. This is a Japanese server, but lots of people still playing this game. And it's also affected by, what other people are doing. So in fact, last night we were looking at it, and the Pathfinder division had a lot more points than we thought it would get. And so we all dug in to boost it up before the run. But it's just really an interesting thing. It's just because this is running on a real online server, all of these things you have to think about when doing the run.
Right now, Yamagishi-san is not grabbing collectibles for
必要なアイテム揃いました。
Okay, hang on, どうぞ。
必要なアイテムが揃ったんで、夜行の森に行きます。
はい、いいですか？
あ、いいです。
はい。So Yamagishi-san's was waiting for a couple of items to pop up, and he's now heard from his supporters that those items have been collected, and so he's going to be heading into Noctilum, the second of the 5 major continents that you explore on Mira.
Yeah, so what Yamagishi-san was farming wasn't multi-spec ladybugs, but it was Kieran catnips, and the elements
hang on.
later on.
Wait, どうぞ。
レフさん TP 足は発進一望でいただきます。以上です。
Hey, okay, so we just got an announcement from one of the supporters in there. We have a text chat for the supporters, and they're letting. どうぞ。
大丈夫ですよ。
はい。So yeah. He's letting the supporters know. Yami-san's also keeping an eye on text chat and letting the supporters know again where to send those items to him. And this is just it's really neat interchange. It's real-time interchange between the runner and supporters. So what just popped up, by the way, was some armor, the leg armor, which with the TP up augment. So that'll let the I think they go on Elma, isn't that right, Legrand? And that will let Elma build up a greater amount of TP. And again, we were talking about how important it is to build TP. So having a greater pool of that just makes the battles go that much more smoothly.
Yep. So we had Primordia earlier, which was just a classic land stuff, and now we've got Noctilum, which is all about the jungle and that atmosphere that is very different as well, and also another fantastic track by Hiroyuki Sawano.
Okay, hang on, got some more.
ワドさんのヒート強化命中アップのフェニックスも発進一望でもらいます。以上です。
Okay, so now we're starting to collect Skell weapons. We'll get into Skells a bit later when they actually show up, but that is another set of equipment that the supporters will be collecting for Yamagishi-san. So
yeah. So something really interesting about Noctilum here, and so I'm not exactly sure as it's going to play out, is that compared to the Western releases of the game, there is a different items that we need to collect for a quest later on for the scale essence, which is here we need
Hang on.
15 up to. Yes.
どうぞ。
どうぞ。
お、何かありました。
OK。あ、今、ディールをいただいたところです。大丈夫です。
はい、了解です。So again, that was Yamagishi-san just breaking in to signal the supporters that that is a particular point where they can safely send items. Because again, when you're targeting an enemy, not just in battle, but even when you're just targeting an enemy, the game will ignore any treasure deals that are sent your way. And since, as Legrand was saying earlier, it is faster to move while targeting enemies, that means a lot of this, this time, he just can't, any deals that get sent his way will just get lost. And so this working out the timing here is just very important to make sure, because obviously you don't want to stop and disengage just to receive an item. You want to find the points where you're not going to be targeting anyway, and get the supporters to send their items at those moments. And so again, that communication is a really big part of this run. It's a thing that really makes the run fascinating.
Yeah, like again, you can do this run without any other party members, but it's just a really nice bonus, and it would be sad to miss it and to miss out on it. Yeah. But since it's a bonus, you just don't want to lose time for it. Like, that's how it works.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we have I was talking about Nocturne and Dragonfly, so we need 15 on the Japanese version in order to get the character scale license, and on the Western release it's 8 rock armadillos, so a little bit differences. That's mostly it. The big difference between Japanese and English run for this game.
It could well be that the devs released it. They said they saw lots of people complaining, why does it take so many? Why do we have to collect so many items? And toned it down a bit for the Western release. But it's one of the only major differences, I think, between the two versions.
Yes, and it was kind of very funny because it was when Yamagishi-san was watching me run, he at some point he asked me, why are you calling this item?
Hang on, Legrand. Let's go.
Yes.
2ドルガンももらいます。よいしょ。OK。
はい。Okay, again, receiving another skill weapon that we're going to be picking up for later. And again, getting all of these weapons with specific augmentations on them, such as increased thermal damage or accuracy up. That will. どうぞ。
TP 左腕は夜行の森に戻ったらもらいます。以上です。
Hi. Okay, so and again, this is I think the last piece of ground equipment that the Yamagishi-san's going to need. It's a piece of left arm armor, and again with the TP up augment, so it's going to allow him to build up a bigger TP pool. So here we also see the first Blade Scout menu. So another thing that's it's part of this run is the Yamagishi-san supporters have also set up characters registered in the system with like level 60. So level 60 is the maximum in this game, and you can rent those out to join your party. And obviously we're sitting here at level 10 or whatever we're at, and we've been bringing in a level 60 character to the party. It's going to make things go fairly smoothly. So it's the other major bit of online that we make use for. Not just, there are plenty of level 60 characters, but these are specifically tuned for the speed run. Yamagishi-san and his supporters have created alternate accounts and what have you, and register these specific characters with specific art setups and weapons and that sort of thing, just to make particular fights. He's going to be using several throughout the run. It's not just a single one that carries them all the way. It's there's going to be several different scouts for different purposes. I see a question in chat about what's the class and build. They're all different. There's, I think, half a dozen or so. I can't go into them all at once. But they're all tuned for a specific battle or set of battles to go quickly. So anti-machine or electric damage up, or these specific things that are used.
Yeah. There's a reason why it's so important to have very specific setup for the speedrun is because, well, you can't actually control
Yes,
scouts, so you have to let it be.
The Grand Sam. The Grand Sam. どうぞ。
TP 腕と、ファイヤーガンとニードルガンもらいます。
Okay, again, we're just letting the supporters help out here.
Yeah, so
どうぞ。
Hang on, the Grand.
Yeah.
いいですか？はい。
かぶったかな？
はい。あら。
かぶったっぽいな。
そう。Okay, so it looks like the timing may have just slipped on one of the treasure deals there. We were letting again Yamagishi-san tell the supporters to go ahead and send deals, but it looks like the timing just slipped up. And if you send 2 deals at once, the game can only display one on screen. The other one again just gets lost. So
今
again,
残ってる
just
の
have
なんだろう。
So yeah, we'll need to let Yamagishi-san wait and see what he actually gets here. So.
今残ってるのありますか？ニードルガンはお渡しした。そうか。じゃあちょっともうちょっと厳選してもらえれば大丈夫です。
Hi. Okay, so yes, just confirming with supporters what was sent and what was lost, and just instructing them where to go next. And again, that's part of it because it's not just this armor, this equipment fetching is not just a one and done. There's there's I think like a couple dozen. Probably a dozen different specific pieces of equipment, and then a lot of sellable items as well. He's going to just sell for money, and so once an item, since you can only have one item, sent as a treasure deal at a time. Once they send that item, Yamagi-san then the runner has to then go and say, okay, now I need you to go look for this other thing, and specify a particular thing you're looking for. So again, it's all this interaction between Yamagishi-san and the runners going on in the background.
Yeah, so the way treasure deal works is you can't actually just send treasure deals or the items that you have in your inventory. You have to give them when you drop them from enemies, which is why it's very important to actually time things properly, because you only have one chance for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I may not have made that clear earlier, but you can only send treasure deals from the rewards from a specific. どうぞ。
ワドさんヒート4もらいます。どうぞ。
Okay.
Does it look like?
これかな。
Not
早す
seeing.
ぎた。
Looks like me. Looks like one of the again one of them got lost through. In that case, it looks like it got sent during the loading screen, and again, the game doesn't save those for the end of the loading screen. So unfortunate slip up, but there's still plenty of time for the supporters to find another one. They may even find a better one. A thing that happens a lot with these, and I've helped out a couple of times as well. Yamagishi-san's run, it's a lot of fun. But one of the things that happens is you get a weapon that's pretty good, you go ahead and send it over, and then 5 minutes later you find the same one but with a better set of augmentations. So this may work out for the best in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it looks like we're now into the grinding part. This is where we're going to grind up everybody's levels. This particular scout that Yamagishi-san is renting right now has is set up specifically for this grinding session to be able to kill multiple enemies really quickly. And we're going to get everybody up to level 38 before we go on. So yeah, I think So you've heard how much there is to explain. It's just such a deep and complex game. But since we're into the grinding, I think GK, if you have something to say, we may have to interrupt you again because Yamagishi-san may have to break and talk to his supporters. But if you have some donations or something to say, I think this would be a great time.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're still dealing with the. We're still
Hang
dealing
on.
with the.
Okay. There's go.
ミスをしました。
Hi, go guys. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So unfortunately, we're still dealing with a bit of a PayPal issue. Your donations, it says that they're processing, but they're not reflecting on the tracker just yet. So just
Go ahead. Good.
so just
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm good. So yeah, if you're donating, please keep that in mind. Sometimes the donations might go through, but they're not reflected in our tracker just yet. But anyways, we are questing for glory, hope, and healing, benefiting National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI, one of the largest grassroots organizations on mental health, and you can find out more about them at nami.org. Or on social media platforms such as Twitter at Nami Communicate, or at Nami Communicate on Instagram, or at Nami on Facebook.
Ooh. Yeah. Hope that
Admittedly,
issue gets sorted out pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, admittedly, it's apparently just a nationwide thing. It looks like it's unfortunate, but technical difficulties happen.
They happen. Yeah. Real world RNG, you know. Yeah. So yeah, this is going to go on for a little while. So I think you gotta give us a little bit more time to talk about exactly what all this online stuff is doing. So
the farming isn't yet there yet. I think it's after this little puddle over there. Actually, no, it's quite far away still. We have to go all the way above this waterfall.
True. I thought we were a little bit further ahead than we were.
Yeah, no, it just led to a bad encounter.
1フレーム技が成功しました。
Oh, so yeah, got a frame perfect trick there to get in that battle. It's a lot of really.
見つかった瞬間に抜刀するっていうのが1フレームしか余裕がなくて、ひるむモーションの前に抜刀ができたんでタイム短縮になりました。
Okay, so we mentioned earlier the stun effect that when enemies find you, they can stun you for a few seconds. As it happens, there is one frame in which if you press the button to draw your weapon on the same frame you get stunned, you cancel the stun animation, just go straight into battle. So, well done, Yamagishi-san.
Okay, so yeah, this is the farming part, and so see all those dialysis. Well, they're just one-shot you normally, but we've got our scout friend who's here to dispatch.
One shot.
So it's set up. The scout we have is set up to have a Gatling, and so Gatlings have really, really big AoE yards, and are overall pretty good at killing all of that. So you can really go really, really hard on damage outputs with scouts. It's really insane. You like there's setups to even one-shot the biggest enemies in the game, and so dealing with all those dialysis isn't really too hard to set up.
Yeah, and we'll be seeing some of those later. So it's going to be some really, really fascinating. Battle strats coming up, and if you may have noticed, by the way, if you're paying attention to the levels, it was at level I think 16 a moment ago. Now we're already all the way up to 29. So that's just how good these high level enemies are. This scout is particularly for grinding. If you also notice the little box at the top of the screen that has the enemy name in it, that was green a moment ago. Now it's turned to blue. Probably before long, it's going to go purple. It's a very clever thing. It shows you the relative strength of the. They're already purple. There we are. Shows you the relative strength, and so that's another indication of just how quickly this scout is helping us level up. So when you think of grinding,
今ディール待ちのものを教えてください。
So I think that's
So hang on,
actually-
hang on, Legrand.
Yes.
使うミニガン。全部ゲーティア終わった後にもらいますんで。
Okay, so yep, that's
今2つです
again.
ね。了解です。
Yep, that is the again.
大丈夫です。
Yep, Yamagishi-san indicating when he's going to be able to accept the items that are ready. He's just wanted to confirm with his supporters which items are still waiting to be sent. Because again, the supporters have to wait on the battle results screen until Yamagishi-san's ready to accept the treasure deals. And so Yamagishi-san's saying that, okay, after the next boss, I'll be ready to accept the 2 items that are pending. Looks like he's got a heat horn and a minigun, which are both scale weapons. So the scale weapons look like they're coming along pretty nicely, actually. Should be in pretty good shape once this grinding session is done.
So thankfully, this grinding, because we've got the scouts, is very, very fast. And this is the main reason why online is so much faster than offline, is because offline we have to grind all by ourselves. And we not only have to grind EXP, but we also have to get some blade EXP, some class EXP, which is the purple bar at the bottom of the character layout. And class EXP is going to give us more arts in order to play the game. And it's going to be very, very important for, in the speedrun, to have Alma at least level, class level. Well, 17 I think is fine. I think you want 18 maybe. But for now, it's going to be good.
あ、いいですか。
どうぞ。
もう、ゲームをクリアするのに十分なレベルが溜まったので、あとは攻略していくだけになりました。レベル上げはもう必要ないです。
So that is Yamagishi-san confirming that we have in fact reached the levels. We do have the levels we need to finish the game. So the grinding session is already done. Yeah. If you run a speed run, if you speed run an RPG and you've had to do a grinding session, just think how much faster it could be if it was online. Yeah. So yep, that's grinding done. Now we're gonna go finish up this exploration and get into the next boss fight. Of course, we just ground ourselves up to level 38, so it's going to be a little bit more quickly than the last one.
Yeah, and on top of that, we still have our scout, which is ready to deal massive amount of damage in a single shot.
Yeah.
So how much percentage of exploration we need in Noctilum in order to finish our explanation? We need 20%, and we are already pretty close to that. So it's going to be done in a few minutes, and then we'll be able to continue the game. So at this point, since we're level 38, so the enemies are level 23, and since they notice that we are just way stronger than them, they will just stop attacking us. And I think in this game you have to be 6 levels higher than the enemies in order for this to be effective. While in Xenoblade 1 it was 5 levels higher. So it's a little bit less lenient at that regard in this game.
Yeah, but still, since we've had that nice quick grind session, that at this point we don't have to worry about about being aggroed anymore. Which is of course very nice because you saw those those huge stun animations, and obviously if you get the frame perfect trick, that's great, but you're still you're losing time. So. This next bit should go pretty quickly.
So to give an idea on how grinding went, well, this took about 5 minutes, right? In an offline run, you need to you're going to take 30 minutes in order to reach level 30, and then there's going to be another farming session that is going to take 5 minutes in order to get to level 30. So very, very effective strat here to get levels.
Yep. So I see a question in chat. We didn't change Cross's class. Do we not care about their class at all? I believe that's the case for the online run, isn't it? We don't care. Yeah, because Elma is going to be doing Elma and the Scout are going to be doing most of the work in the battles.
Yeah, so
Cross
what
help,
you
yeah,
just
cross
saw
help
there,
out in a couple. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, what we just saw there was a little skip that was found by some member of the community a while ago, and it skips quite a lot of exploration actually into little rock climbing sessions. It's pretty neat. And not that precise to get either. It's a little bit finicky, but it's very doable.
There's a lot of neat little skips in. I mean, a lot of all Xenoblade games have this kind of parkour aspect to them, and you can take advantage of that to skip. Find ways around particular obstacles. There's a really neat one we're going to be seeing later in the game. Remember to point that out as well. Another neat thing, another fun thing to optimize, really.
And now we just hide behind Lin because that guy is scary and his name is L and it's not going to be relevant to the story at all. So carry on.
Yep. Yes, pay no attention to the L behind the curtain. So having issues with the dragonflies. The dragonflies here. So this is the 15 that we were mentioning earlier that you have to collect for Skell license, and ideally we'd like to collect several of them now because we're just passing through an area where they appear. But unfortunately, the luck is not with us at the moment. So fingers crossed that your bless RNGs.
Really a lot.
15 is a lot.
So yeah, this is a boss fight. Scout, please. So
sometimes Scout sits around for a while, but
yeah, this is just like most of this run in a nutshell right there. You just draw your weapons and then you pray for Scout.
Yep. That's literally what the guide says. The speedrun guide just the instructions for the battle is engage in battle, concentrate fire, pray for Scout to do stuff. And it's great.
So, as you mentioned, there's actually a few orders that you can use in order to let the AI know what they should try to do. And so you can tell them to concentrate fire to focus one character, and you can also tell them to use range attack or use melee attack or build TP, etc., etc. There's a lot of orders that you can use. Sadly, the AI in this game is really, really not efficient at using the what the gameplay offers you because it's so big and complex that they're mostly worthless. But despite that, the fact that we have such good characters means that we have to rely on the poor AI in order to.
So if you caught the pop-up right there on top of the screen, it was one of the skill weapons that Yamagishi-san called for earlier. The supporters sitting at the ready to send out. Unfortunately, it looks like one of them got overlapped again, and just unfortunate timing. And again, just have to pull that out again. But still, the supporters being able to just react there without Yami-san having to call is just another marker of their experience. As these folks have all been running with Yami-san, helping him out for quite a while, and I watch the runs and they're just snap, getting the stuff done, finding the weapons, sending them out, going on to the next one. It's really fantastic cooperation between them all. And,
so right
every
now
now and then, dozo.
レフさんごめん。メンバーチェンジすんの言うの忘れてた。
Yep. So yeah, it looks like again. Hi. So it looks like that one that disappeared got caught up in the menu, and Yami-san forgot to mention that he was going to do a member change. And again, being in the menu is another thing that causes the game to throw away the treasure deal offers. So it was. It was a little mistake, but again, these plenty of room to catch up.
今4分押しです。
So we're falling a bit behind here, unfortunately. But I'm sure we've got plenty of opportunities to catch up
ここ
still.
から巻きま
And-
す。
Yep.
So that's chapter 4 done.
Yeah.
So while we were doing all this exploration, we got that chapter cleared out.
あ、いいですか。
どうぞ。
ヒート強化ヒート本は商業エリアでもらいます。
Hey, so another looks like we got a replacement already for the for the weapon that got lost. Again, it's RNG plays a part as well, but fantastic work on the part of the supporters.
どうぞ。ナイス。
And looks like we got it. Good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, now we again finished chapter 4, and I believe go into a bit of exploration again here.
Yep.
Or is this just do we go straight on to chapter 5?
No, we have so in order to clear to start chapters, we need exploration done. So we had to do 15% Primordia. We'll have to have 20% Nocturne done for not the next chapter but for the one right after, I think. No, it's for the next chapter that we need 20% Nocturne. But we also need to do some side quests. Which
Yes.
are it's affinity missions. So in order to affinity missions, they are basically missions where you get to know a little bit more about other characters and get to know more about the lore. That isn't the main story, but it's still very relevant to whatever happens.
Yeah,
And
the
so
classic
there's
mandatory
a few
optional side quest. Yep. Good.
There is a few that are required in order to complete the story. It's completely it's really completely independent to whatever you do in the story. You have to complete those missions. And so right now we have to kill these Evelos, and but because we have to have Irina in the party, we can't have our scouts. We'll have to do it ourselves, and that's where having potential up really helps. In that we don't have to go for tier 2 here. We can just kill with tier 1 mostly. If you get good potential drop.
So this is where the armor from the weapons from the weapons and armor, I guess, from the health supporters are starting to really play a part. It's really speed up these battles here.
So yeah, you want basically all you want on your armor and your weapons is potential up or potential boost, because that's going to either give you raw stat or it's going to give you a percentage boost on your potential, which is again what is going to allow Elma to deal damage. As you could see, only the TPRs dealt really significant damage, so it's Executioners, you can arc, 100 flash, 100 flash move, and Stream Edge that have been spamming for a while. And that's only based on potential, not ranged attack and not melee attack. So that's the only stat that really matters. And on top of that, there is also resistances that exist in this game. So there's going to be multiple different types of attacks that you can do. You can do thermal, ether, physical, etc., etc. There's like 6. And enemies all have different types of different percentage of resistance throughout all those elements. And turns out the best element to deal to deal with bosses is to have ether weapons. And so right now or electrical. I think ether is better. So you want to set up weapons that have high potential up and are ether based. I think it's I'm not sure anymore if it's ether.
Yeah, actually, Yami-san just goes for electric over ether, but
yeah, because
maybe
there's
slightly different routing.
There's a few bosses that have high ether resistances, if I recall correctly. I can't remember on the top of my head, but it's been a while since I routed that with Giant Excel trying to figure out all those things that I thought and what was better.
お、ダブルヒートフェニックスが出た。
どうぞ。
フェニックスのダブルヒートが出ましたんで、火力が上がります。
So we got supporters. Once they find the weapon, they don't just leave it there. Sometimes they will go back and look for a better one. And we just got a Phoenix. A Phoenix is a fantastic skill weapon, by the way. You'll see later just why it's so great. But he also got it with a double thermal attack up, and it is a thermal element weapon. So that's just a huge bonus to that weapon's damage. It's when you get those double, the double affixes, the double augments like that, you just really, as a supporter, you rejoice to say, RNG was with me today. So that should really help us pull back some of that time loss later in the run.
I'm really jealous because, well, I'm here mostly running offline categories, and I'm stuck with a base Phoenix that doesn't have anything because I just bought it on the job.
Right.
It gets the job done, but it's not as expected.
Mm-hmm.
いいですか？
Yeah. どうぞ。
ワドさん、ジャイアントクラックでもらいます。以上です。
Okay, so again, indicating he's going to receive that Phoenix gets up to a particular area a little bit farther on. But yeah, those augmentations really do make a difference to the run, to being able to complete the battles more quickly. So I have high hopes that we're going to see some really good time gains here as the run goes on.
It's pretty funny how exploration works when you compare both trials, because well, offline doesn't have the double blade EXP you get, so you have to do exploration in a lot more tight way and do a lot more stuff in order to get your blade EXP, and seeing how Yamagishi-san does it is really interesting.
It's really a little
that place is terrible.
It is so easy. It's in all the Xenoblade games. There are these places that are just so easy to get turned around in. Especially here, he's just when you're smack in the middle of this giant desert. If you don't have the right way, it can take a moment to figure out which is the way I was trying to go.
By the way, Oblivia it has the best theme in the game. There you go.
They all have the best theme in the game. What are you talking about?
Oblivia is better. I remember when I played the game for the first time, I could just listen to that track for... I actually listened to that track for like a whole week non-stop, and didn't feel like I was overdoing it.
Yeah, that's me and Primordia, but yep. They're all... The soundtrack is fantastic. There's so many. And then, of course, I got the Silverlobe, and I was listening to that for a week, so...
ワドさんどうぞ。Nice.
Oh, there we go.
Wow. That's some good weapon.
Yeah. See, yeah, that is a solid Phoenix right there. Yep. So again, that particular...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, yeah, that particular point is again a point where Yamagishi-san knows that he is going to not be targeting an enemy, and so it is a point where supporters can send squeeze in one, I think sometimes two, if folks are really on the button. But it's a point where you can squeeze in deals right there without having to lose any time. Yeah.
This monster's getting one shot. So that scout is actually specifically made so that you can do very focused damage on one enemy, and is also made so that damage comes out really, really fast. As you can see, you don't even have the time to use a second art. Like as soon as the scout draws weapon, the enemy is dead. So that's how strong scouts are. We're not going to see fights for really long.
and you can tell how much effort Yami-san's put in. Yami-san also, his supporters as well, have also helped out with the routing, figuring out which combinations of weapons and skills, weapons, skills, arts, all of the variables are the best for doing these battles quickly. And they've just put in a ton of work. And even just this past week, I was watching some of their discussions on could this combination of of arts and weapons save us a little bit of time in this battle or in this chapter. And they've really put in a lot of work, and I think it really shows. And especially I think later, the second half, the last third of the run, you're gonna see some of those improvements play out. There's just been, even just up through this week, there's been routing improvements, and he just keeps putting in the effort, keeps making the run better, and just huge shout outs. And I'm sure we'll talk about it again once the run is done. But it's huge shout outs to all the work that Yamagi-san and his supporters have put into doing this job.
So that's all 3 turrets that we needed to destroy, and now we have to go back to these pizza lovers, mountains, to tell them that they're okay and they can they can get their shit back.
Yep.
But they're gone, so we have to save them again.
今から
this fight-
難しい登山やります。
はい。
今からちょっと難しい登山やります。
So we've got a bit of climbing tech here from Yamagishi-san coming up. As the go save the mountain, you're gonna have to climb up, but going the way you're intended to go is very slow. You have to go all the way around to detours and stuff. So we're just gonna climb up the walls.
That's going
Much
to be
easier.
a different fur from the way I see it in offline. So there is multiple pathing you can take in order to climb. It's pretty cool in this game how much you can do with climbing.
あ、一発成功。
Oh, first try. First try easy every time. Yamagishi-san makes that look easy. It is not. Trying to find, there are specific points at which you can just stand for an instant, and getting onto those points and then jumping again before you slip down is just really complicated, and it takes a lot of practice. So big shout out to Yamagishi-san for getting that first try. That is a lot harder than it looks.
And yeah, it's a boss fight. That's 1 down. It's 2 down very fast. Well, you can see this chunk of damage. It's just auto attacks, by the way.
Yeah, it was a boss fight. Not anymore.
This fight is one of the scariest in the game, and yeah, it was just really easy to do.
Yeah.
So that was chapter 5, and
That's
now
kind of-
we have
yep.
access to the most broken mechanic that ever existed, which is known as overdrive. So if you
Yes.
played Xenoblade 2 and you've seen overdrive, well, it doesn't work exactly the same way as in Xenoblade 2. Well, it still gives a stat boost every time you get the counter up, but it's a lot more complex in this game because most of the combat is around that. So up until now, we've been doing fights with our potential, no pun intended, really tamed down. And now we are going to be able to have our full power displayed because overdrive is really broken.
Yeah.
So in order to activate overdrive, we have to spend 3000 TP. So that's like quite a lot. You start with a max of 3000 TP. Right now, Yamagishi-san has a lot more max TP, which is obviously going to help since we're going to consume all of our TP. And then we're going to have 10 seconds where all the cooldowns of our arts are going to be significantly faster. And we're also going to have access to a third cooldown, a tertiary cooldown, which is going to even more improve your arts. and all your arts are going to have their secondary cooldown and tertiary cooldown go up at the same time, instead of either if you have weapons drawn, sword drones or guns. And so every time you're going to so it really rewards using arts, in that every time you are going to do a hit with one of your art, it's going to make your counter go up. This counter is going to even further boost the cooldowns and the damage that you're going to deal. So it's going to be very important to, and also the bonus effects of your arts. So it's going to be very important at the start of the fight to build the count so that overdrive is even more effective. On top of that, every art has every color has a specific effect. So you've got green arts, yellow arts, red, blue, purple. I think that's mostly it. And every color has a different effect depending on the counter situation. So green is going to give you more overdrive time. So it's counter divided by 2. Blue is going to give by 2 seconds. No, by 0.2. Well, anyway, if you are at max, it gives 5 seconds. So the max is 100, so that's going to give you 5 seconds. You can make some math for that. Blue art is going to give you double count, double that time. Green is also going to make the next damaging art gives you double count. So say you're going to use Sliding Slinger and overdrives at 6 hits. If you have a green art before that, it's going to give you 12 count on your overdrive count. So it's really important to use green art effectively. Then yellow art and red art are big damage.
Yeah. I was to say, you know, I'll freely admit that I had no clue how to use overdrive when I played this game casually. Basically just blowing up enemies there. Yeah. You may recall me mentioning in Discord, Legrand, that I said my impression of overdrive was I pressed the button, 10 seconds go by, and I did 500 damage, and I have no clue what's going on. Was my impression. But yeah, once you understand it, it just really opens up the battle system and its possibilities. And we're going to see some of those fights. I mean, just saw the quick preview of it there, but some of the upcoming boss fights, you're going to see that in its full glory.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain it right now because we won't have time to explain it when it's going to happen. So you're going to have to try to really pay attention to the counter, to whatever art is used, and then try to figure out from there.
Wait, go, どうぞ。
和田さん、パスファインダーのムービーが終わった時にもらいます。以上です。
はい。
カニと戦う手前でもらいます。以上です。
はい。So got an improved sword from one of the supporters. Is going to and Yami-san's going to be receiving that after a cutscene in a little bit, just indicating the exact timing for that. But yeah, it is very important. As Legrand was saying earlier, you know, overdrive at its beginning only lasts 10 seconds, and Yamagishi-san has a lot of stuff to do in that 10 seconds. We're not going to be able to explain it when it happens. So. You know, just kind of keep it in the back of your mind. This is how overdrive works. These are the things. You know, look for the quickly increasing recasts. Look for the colors of the arts that Yamagishi-san uses, and just watch as the damage numbers go sky high.
Yeah, it's actually not going to matter for this fight because I thought you didn't have a scout for this, but apparently you do. So yeah, it's not going to be a problem here, but it's going to matter for the next chapter. So right now we need to deal with four fexes. 6 4 fexes.
間違えた。
Yep. A slight error from the supporter. It's unfortunate. Yep. But it happens, you know. And So with the luck these supporters have been getting today, I'm sure they'll dig out another one in no time.
So this next boss fight is surely a nightmare to anyone who's ever played this game. Because now the game kind of assumes that you know how to use Overdrive because you just got a tutorial that was just one screen explaining all that I ever explained, right? It all makes sense. Absolutely not. And it's kind of the problem with this game. It's really bad at tutorials. So we've got this boss fight, and it's hard.
Yeah, I remember having a lot of trouble with boss as well, casually.
はい、打って。
Scout, please.
Yeah, so yep. As soon as the scout decides to do something, the battle's over. It's just, you know, when is the scout gonna do it? You never know.
Yep. And yeah, once you have so like once you have overdrive control, you can pretty much fight on anything that you see that isn't going to one shot. Ah no!
Hold up.
He was supposed to have Gwyn in his party at this point in order to boost affinity.
ちょっと間違えた。
Oop. Oh, right. In order to boost affinity. Yeah. Well.
So every
So
time you
カバーは
clear,
カバーはできます。
Yeah. So we can deal with it. Yeah, we can deal with this. This is just have to reroute a little bit. It won't be a big problem.
yeah, every time you clear an affinity mission, obviously it's going to give you well some affinity with your members. And in order to finish the run, there is 2 affinity missions that we have to do, and there is a hurt requirement on those affinity missions. So we have to build affinity with 2 characters. One is Lao, the second one is Gwyn, and we are supposed to finish this fight, this mission with Gwyn in order to get more affinity. It's a rally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fortunately, Gwyn's affinity mission doesn't come until very late in the run, so yeah, so we still have plenty of time to make up for that.
Yeah. So this is like the big mission where not having well, like we'll have to fight by ourselves, and why we had to set up Elma the way we did, because now we don't have a scout. So like the envelope fight was pretty simple, right? Because like you just had to do Elma stuff and it worked out. Here you really need to use overdrive, and if you don't have and so you really need to understand how overdrive works if you want to use it effectively. Thankfully, Yamagishi-san is level 38, so he doesn't have really a chance to die. But so it's going to be pretty smooth.
いいですか？
Dozo.
厳選してくれてる皆さん、資金に移っていただければと思います。以上です。
Hey. So so it's it's an instruction from Yamagishi-san to supporters. Say that I'd like them to go look for sellable items instead of trying to farm out better equipment, because at this point we have pretty much the equipment we'll need. And like Legrando's saying, this is where that equipment is going to play its biggest role. So at this point, it's better to start building up money, because we're going to be needing a lot of money. In about half an hour, I guess. Half an hour, 45 minutes. Well, the way we do that is we find lots of expensive armor to sell, and the supporters will be sending that over as.
The last art
they
that didn't
find
explain is purple art. Sorry about that. And it actually gives you more TP when you use it, which is very, very important, because, well, you kind of need TP in order to use your arts.
Yep.
Oh my god, that's very scary amount of HP. Please don't die. Okay, no, wait, we're back to safety. So as you can see, this counter is going really way high up, and we don't really need any other of our party member now that we've got our overdrive stuff. So as you can see, Side Slash is giving a really ton of PP, and we're back at full PP, even though we used quite a bit throughout this fight. So again, we're going to see another fight and another overdrive.
And you can see
Wow.
just how quickly the arts build, up, how quickly everything goes. It's just you really have to know what you're doing, or those 10 seconds go by and you have no idea what just happened, like me.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough. Oh,
Ah,
that's good.
Ooh, just barely.
ボタン間違えたよ。
Yeah.
Slight mistake of a button press there, but they got through it anyway.
Mhm.
So that's the important part.
Yeah. What the problem that happened is that if you chain yellow into arts into red arts, then the overdrive count is not going to go up during the red art, and it's not going to have the damage output from overdrive bonus. It's kind of like to prevent you from pressing every buttons and having things work out. And so that's actually lost quite a bit of time during overdrive, so it was really close to win. But it's over now. We're good.
Yep. Yeah. Just a quick follow-up, by the way, on Yamagishi-san asking his supporters to go start fetching sellable items. Is one of the route changes that just happened recently that they've been working on is to be able to use a scout instead of overdrive for one of the later chapter, at least chapter 9 fights. And since that's the case, we don't need better weapons for chapter 9. We're only using this one fight, and then we're done with the ground weapons. And so at that point, given that, it makes more sense to just start getting out the money immediately. So we're going to need a total of, I think, usually 20-25 that he looks to get. And since you can only send one at a time, sooner you can start finding those, the better. You can already see one pop up there. Yami's-san just picked up from an earlier deal, and those are going to be coming in throughout the next 20-30 minutes.
Yes, because we finished chapter 6, and now it's finally time to get our scale, or dole in Japanese. And so we are going to have to do 8 quests in order to get that. So this is a backup for affinity right here. We're only picking up this quest in order to build affinity with Gun. And Lao as well. We'll pair it. Because every time there's a prompt on the screen telling you options, whatever option you choose is going to, give some affinity boost to your character, potentially.
Yeah, so I guess, of course, Yami's-san knows all the backups, knows how to work around problems like that, so it's quickly taken care of, and moving on into the skull quest. As I think I saw someone in chat mention earlier as well. They are called dolls in Japanese, leading to some interesting post-battle quotes like, "It's a shame we can't have tea time with these dolls," I think is one of Elma's. But yeah. So it looks like you got 7 out of 15 dragonflies, so it's going to be a little bit of fun. I'm going to hope for good dragonfly luck as we go back through Noctlum to pull that out. Another thing we're seeing here on this menu, this is the reward ticket menu, another feature that's limited to online. The scout missions that you see there in the bottom, I think there's still some up that you see in the bottom right when the screen pops up again. You can go and fight a certain specified enemy or collect a specified item. Yeah, there they are in the bottom right of the screen. And doing that will earn you and everyone else in your party reward tickets, and you then use those reward tickets to buy monster drops, essentially. So all of the top level monster drops are available as quest ticket rewards, and there are 2 that are particularly hard to get. Lightspeed Finn and one other. I don't know if you recall it is Grand.
I can't remember his name right now, but it's going to be useful.
2 specific items that we need to upgrade weapons later on. And rather than having to go out and fight the enemies and hope they drop what you need, it's easier to just get those reward tickets. You can also get reward tickets from using scouts during in your playthrough. When the scout returns, you get a reward depending on how long or how much you use them. And and I think that is where Yamagishi-san picks up the reward tickets for this particular run. But anyway, uses those to buy these two monster drops, and that will let us upgrade some equipment later. It's another useful, fun feature of online. Yes. So here's one of the
nice.
Nice quick kill there. One of the tricky parts of the Skell quest. You have to fight this tyrant. It's what the game calls its unique or named monsters. But this particular tyrant only spawns with a 50% probability. So we got lucky. I think that was a first time spawn. If you're not lucky, it can take 3, 4, even more. And you really don't want to see that when you're in the middle of a good run. So glad we got a first try spawn there.
So the other item that we need is upgraded coil, and we'll need one Lightspeed jet fin and one upgraded coil for a quest way later on.
It's for a quest, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which ones are for the quest, and I think there are a couple of augment upgrades as well, but one or the other. But being able to get those as from reward tickets rather than having to go out and farm the enemies themselves, this is just another speed improvement that online gives us. So here I'm looking for dragonflies.
Dragonfly farming, and while he's doing that, since there's really nothing to do, I guess it's time to get some treasury deals as well.
Yep. So this is another time. This is there are some points in here where it's going to be. So we got 10 out of 15. If you look in the bottom right, it looks like 11 now. See the counter there. So Yamagishi-san actually is very careful to leave this particular quest as active, so he can always see his dragonfly count, know exactly where he is and how often he has to farm these. But again, as Legrand's saying, this is also a time, since it's just repeating this loop over and over, where supporters can easily throw deals and not have to worry about losing them to being in battle or having a weapon out.
Yosh.
Okay, there we go.
The big problem with the cursor side quest here, which requires you to get specific items, is that you can only get those items in specific regions of the game, but the game never tells you which region it is where you can find them. So on your first time, you're just kind of wandering around and endlessly trying to find.
That was my experience as well, for sure. Yeah, that was one thing that I always wished. I mean, I don't need it to tell me if I've never seen it before, but if I've seen an item once, I would like to know where it is without having to find pen and paper as we did in the old days. But yes, Yamagishi-san, of course, has all of this down pat, and he's gotten all 15s going into. This is the bladder quest.
Yeah. So the quest that we've done so far. So we had the Pathfinder quest, which was just get near an FN site, which is enough. We have the collection quests, which we're doing right now. We have to kill 12 bladders for the Interceptors quests. We had to kill that one tyrant for the warriors, and then we'll have a quest to do for the mediators, and there is another one where we just grab the treasure and we could call it a day as well. And finally, the last one that we have to do is Prospectors. Not Bonspectors, I was about to say that.
Almost, very close.
And so the Prospector side quest is just mining enough money on the next tick and get the quest done.
Yeah.
But
that last one actually makes things interesting.
Yeah, that's something we never got to talk about. But while the game goes on, you're going to get some money, some reward for your FN sites where you planted probes, and that reward is just going to come after a while. So it's basically like kind of an auto-scroller in that sense, because we have to wait for the next tick, and we won't be able to get our scale and therefore progress really, really fast without it. So despite whatever Yamagishi-san has been doing up until now, it's going to, if it's going super fast, then it is going to be kind of gate-kept by that requirement.
Yeah.
Meaning that as long as you just don't go too slow, where you like just get it at the right time, it's just fine to lose time. Well, fine.
Yeah, it doesn't end up making a difference because if you go too fast, you end up having to wait for the quote-unquote auto-scroller to give you your money. But that does place an interesting little constraint on the routing there. You want to make sure, ideally, you get the money while this. But if you end up, the flip side is there's no reason to go too fast. There's no reason to try and skip stuff. And if you're so inclined, this is the kind of thing that as a router, somebody who routes speedruns, I love, because it means I can take something from a different part of the game, put it in here, save time in that other part, and not lose time because I'd be waiting anyway. I love how these things kind of all come together when you route it well.
Yeah, that was something that was really important for Yamagishi-san when he was writing this run. Was trying to squeeze out as much time as possible early on to get that to try and get all your ticks. And I remember discussions about that way back. Now I think it's mostly stabilized to the point where we are pretty much at a 4-hour mark, but. When you are at 4:30, when you are at 4:20, you hit kind of different ticks. And it also kind of happened with the offline route as well. We're now at this point, we are going too fast for the tick, but not fast enough to get the next one. It's kind of important on that regard.
가보자. Pumpkin.
Oh.
Pumpkin.
So yes, if you've never seen this cave before, I saw this for the first time when I was watching a speedrun and went, wow, what is this place I have never seen before? But yes, there are three. It looks like we only got 2 of the 3 pumpkins that we need from this from this place.
There you go. That's
nice. So there's that's the money pop-up. So that's the so we won't have to wait at all for that one. That came up during the quests. But yes, this unfortunately, it looks like we'll have to go back through this cave once more. Ideally, you want to get all 3 of the pumpkins. There we go. All 3 during one trip, because as you saw, it takes quite a bit of time to walk back in. But didn't take too much extra time to get that. And it's probably not that unusual to take 2 trips. So,
no, it's about average, I'd say.
About average, yeah.
So the last thing we need to do now is complete the mediator quests, and so we've got 3 possible quests to clear, and this one really just requires us to have a Nakamura soon, and we'll need to get to that locations eventually, to the outfitter hangar. So we're just going there right now, and a neat little way to get to that landmark.
Yes, I loved when I first saw this. I thought it was really clever. Yeah.
So a lot of those things that Yamagishi-san has been doing is also comes from the improvement that were done with the offline run, which was a lot more optimized compared to online when he first started doing the run. So there is quite a few things that actually work out together, and this one is an example. And I think he was looking at my run and he saw that. He was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And so a big shout out to Doc Mob actually as well, who routed most of offline. And I made a few improvements, but mostly Doc Mob did it. And YMG also did a lot of work on online and made that route that looks and works really, really well, and uses pretty much all the features of online as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really you'd see this kind of interaction between the between the 2 categories, of course, also between the 2 2 groups of runners. the people who've been working on the online and the people who've been working on the offline, they start sharing their strats and improving both categories.
Yeah, so this quest is kind of funny because we want to try and improve the technique, the technology of the humans, and because the mans have some really impressive technologies, we want to start commercial trading with them, and like starting to bond with the other community. And well, it turns out that Manons are craving for one very, very specific human and very American thing, which is pizza. So if you want to sell stuff to Manon, just send them a pizza and they will give you whatever they want. Whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to these guys in the game, and got to this is people. Yep.
Manons are men of culture, obviously.
Yep, indeed.
Pizza is the best.
Yeah. So by the way, since that pop-up is there, I will mention, I don't know if any of you are paying attention as Yamagishi-san's been going through. He's been picking up items from his supporters all this time, and these items are gonna be things that he's selling later to get money. But as he's going through with all of this, he's always keeping an eye on that corner of the screen for a pop-up, and when it comes up, he will immediately grab and just being multitasking like that as well. So again, another really fascinating thing about this online run, having both of those things going on at the same time.
And so now we've got our big giant robot. Let's go. And it's also a car.
Yeah. Robot car.
Yeah.
So again, picking up scout. You notice if you look closely, it's asking for a level 10 to 19 scout. This scout is not going to be for fighting. This scout is going to give us an item reward when we turn them in. It's actually going to get a second one in the same area. It's a very clever optimization because most people who play this game, they say, I want people to use my scout, so I'm going to make it a really high level, character, level 60 usually, because that's the cap. Well, it turns out you can set up characters for this particular reward as low as level 15. And so by doing that, you make sure that they will always be on the chart. They won't be dropped off the bottom because other players registered their scouts more recently. Because nobody's going to bother registering a level 15 scout. It's a very clever little optimization.
Yeah, and so the reason why we want to use level 15 scouts is because they give a reward that is actually pretty much impossible to get normally and with consistent luck, which is Under on Lead. I guess
yes,
you can say
Under on Lead.
Right. Yep. So in order to finish one quest that we'll have to do pretty soon, actually, the Matchmaker, which is Lao's Affinity mission, we need to get 3 Under on Lead, and Under on Lead are only dropped from mining pros. So every 10 minutes.
Ah, Blue-sanだ。
Oh, hi, Blue.
Oh, yes.
ブルーさんがね、
so,
資金投げてくれた。
So Blue, by the way, if you caught the name there on that last treasure deal, Blue is another member of the Xenoblade community. He's also helping out with the commentary on the Japanese restream. Quick shout out to the Japanese restream as well for helping share this run with the Japanese community. And in fact, since we are actually going into a segment here where Yamagishi-san can be able to receive deals at any time because he's going to be traveling in the Skell and not in battle. He won't have to interact as directly or as immediately with supporters. So I think we can take a moment here if the host wants to, GK, if you want to call out the restreams or any other announcements you may have. Be a good time.
Absolutely. So yeah, we do have 2 restreams currently. We have the German restream, which is at twitch.tv/Germensch. We also have the Japanese restream, which is just twitch.tv/Japanese_restream. Konnichiwa, minasan. Yeah, so you're looking for stream and perhaps a different language, more expanded commentary would be over there. Yeah, we're still unfortunately dealing with a bit of an unfortunate issue. It looks like donations are just like kind of caught in a weird limbo. They don't really have a technical explanation prepared behind it, but we do really appreciate all of your donations that have been coming in, and we are still looking to meet some of those goals coming up. Perhaps like if you're at all interested in donating to the event, we have a couple challenges for Persona 5 Strikers. Should be in about 10 hours or so.
あ、天気が悪い。
Got bad weather here, but yes,
Bad weather.
Yeah.
bad weather here. But yeah, go ahead, GK.
Yeah, so we do have a couple challenges for Persona 5 Strikers. We still have that task spot, that's showing of the Final Fantasy X tasks after the Final Fantasy task spot showing. So do keep those incentives in mind if you're looking to donate at some point. Again, we are still kind of just hinging on PayPal right now for the issues with the donations. We're looking to get that squared away as soon as we can. As soon as that is working, we will let you know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely fingers crossed that gets cleaned up. Just a quick note here, by the way, on the weather that Yamagishi-san's commenting on. So, each of the areas has specific weathers. This red aurora here is a rare weather. Well, it's theoretically a rare weather for Sylvalum, the continent we're on now. But he's gotten it 4 times in a row now, and during that particular weather, some really scary enemies spawn in the middle of that lake, and they can spot you, and they will just stomp you and destroy you. So, thankfully, Yamagishi-san is able to get past that.
Yeah, those giant cornets are usually tame with any other weather, but when it's red aura, they start being aggressive, and yeah, it's one of the scariest enemies in the game, really.
It is, yeah. It took a long time before I was able to beat them casually.
Yeah, even in a 100% category, dealing with them is quite the feat.
あ、いいですか。
どうぞ。
ディールしてくださってる皆さんになんですけど、白寿が終わる頃にはもう切り上げてもらって大丈夫です。以上です。
はい。So just a quick comment from Yamagishi-san to his supporters that he's got pretty much all of the money or all of the sellable items he'll need, and by the time he's done with the Sylvalum exploration here, they can call it a day. So this is usually about the time. Sometimes a little bit earlier, sometimes a little later, depending on how things have gone. But it looks like we're right about on target for where we want to be. And so that's the point at which the supporters will be able to sit back and relax, watch the rest of the run.
Yep.
And
yeah, we've got equipment for the scale, we've got equipment for our ground section, which is already done, we've got money. Nothing else really to grab. Now it's just down to praying for scouts.
Yep.
So you could see the way YMG-C at some point during this exploration killed the monster, and that is going to give us the reward for the 2 really low level scouts that we have. So that's going to be really nice, and that's going to give Under and Lead, which, as I was explaining, you can only get through mining, and it's a random chance to get them every 10 minutes. So very easily, if you just rely on that, you can just end up at 2 out of 3 Under and Lead when you need them, and then you have nothing to do, so you just sit there and wait. And this is the story of offline runs in a nutshell. You have, like, the faster you go, the less ticks you get, and therefore the less chances for it you get, and so the more runs die because you have to wait for Under and Lead.
Right. Even playing casually, I got to that quest of saying Ender on Lead, where do I find that? I don't have any. What do I do? And I found there was like one Frontier Net node that gave it, and I just sat there waiting. Well, I did other quests, but yeah, it is, even casually, it can be a nightmare.
Well, Yeah, I don't really know how you managed to have that problem casually because like generally under Undead are really not that rare if you have a few mining probe set up, but I guess it
Well,
can
that's
happen.
just my luck. It's my luck. Well, I probably used them for for upgrading stuff as well. And so when I hit that particular
Oh
quest, I
yeah.
didn't have any left. But yeah, no, this is why sometimes I regret my decision to speedrunning because I have horrible luck, just in general.
Yeah, like mining materials can be used to improve to get better augments, which are just basically just like in Xenoblade one it's gems, which can give you potential up, for example, and yeah, you can use Endure and Lead to craft that, and you can just end up at 0, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I know that casually I never got to use augment feature because I never learned that you could actually trap them. But I can totally understand
Yeah.
just not having any resources for the quest, and suddenly shows up and you're like, oh. And the bigger problem as well in this game is that you can't have more than one affinity mission up. If you've got an affinity mission going on, you can't cancel it, and you can't get another one, or you can't even continue a chapter. So you're stuck with that. And if suddenly you need to go to Coldros, which is where we are right now, the very top of the game, and you don't have Scout, well, good luck.
Yep.
You're going to have to do that on foot.
Yep. Funny enough, though, I actually went to play casually. I went to Sylvalum on foot mainly because I was wondering: is this really an open world game? Will it really let me swim all the way outside of Primordia? And it did. And I spent probably was about 10 minutes or however long it takes to swim on in ground state from Primordia to Sylvalum. So I did that. I have that experience. I would not want to do it again.
Well, I did that as well, but that's because I had Fry's mission up, and Fry requires you to go to Silva, and I was
Right.
like, oh,
Yep.
that's cool. I should pick it up. I regretted my decision.
Yep. Instant regret.
So right now we need 30% exploration in Oblivia in order to get to the next chapter, and we also needed 20% Silvalum, if I remember correctly. And so we've done all the exploration in Silvan, and as well as the 15% exploration in Coldros, which he also finished. So right now we are really, really close to finishing all of the exploration that we have to do, which, as you can see, is very fast with the scale, because you've got, vehicle mode, you've got really high jumps. So
今
you can...
1フレーム技が決まりました。
Got another frame perfect trick there. Yeah, good job.
ドールのロボット形態から降りるときに方向ボタンとY ボタンを同時に押すと1フレームで形態変化なしに降りれます。
So there's a trick there in when you're getting out of the scale when it's in its stand-up mode. If you press Y to get out and you press down on the same frame, you skip the animation of the scale kneeling down to let you out and just get out instantly. So it's a quick 2-3 second time save every time you can get that done.
I never knew about this glitch.
Oh.
So,
I didn't either.
Yeah, Yamagishi-san is very, very knowledgeable with the game, and that's because he was actually part of the beta testing team for the game when it was being tested.
I was aware of that, but
yeah, he was QA for the game, so he actually knew like quite a few tricks that could be used in order to unsoftlock yourself. For example, he was talking about that. On Discord, and everyone's like, "Wait, what? Really? Wow, incredible!" And yeah, he's very, very knowledgeable in the game. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, just watching the conversation support has been having on stuff like routing. Obviously he's super knowledgeable about it. The support also they've clearly spent a lot of time looking at things, testing things out, understanding the mechanics of the game, finding the best ways to do things. And just I just want to shout out again all of the work that they've put into to routing this, making it as good a run as it is.
今さっき4分押してると 話しましたけれども、
はい
PB から、今
はい
2分まで縮めてます。
Oh, いいですね. So remember Yamagi-san saying that he was 4 minutes behind at one point a little while ago? He's cut that down to 2 minutes. So we're saving quite a bit of time already, and we still got half the game to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, looking to see where. As I was mentioning earlier, just this past week, he was rerouting Chapter 9 as well. So I don't think he's actually done a run. As I was mentioning earlier, this is because of the way online works. He can't do runs every day. He can't, he can't retry, try new strats every day, because if he does that, eventually he's not going to be able to boost Pathfinder anymore, and the route won't work. So he's been using the time, the time missions, the trials for bosses, things like that to test it. But that's not ultimately, it's not quite the same as you get playing the actual, doing the actual run. So I believe this is actually the first time we're going to be seeing some of these strats in the run, and he's saying they will save quite a bit of time. And I'm looking forward to see just how much.
Very, very quickly dealing with that tyrant with thanks to our scout.
Yep.
Please.
Yeah, you've only got one. Yeah.
Please, scout.
Scout was just sort of sitting on his hands for a little while there, but yeah. You notice we only have the one skill. We're not going to be putting anybody else in the skill. One is all we need for the run. The scouts are actually better than skills at this point.
Oh yeah, the scout damage is really good, and but it's really not as good as what you can do with the character setup, and especially with overdrive, like that damage skyrockets. We can't really
True.
set up a scout for overdrive because they come at 0 TP, and they also are not really good at using overdrive. But
1フレーム技決まりました。
Oh, if you just caught that again, by the way, down the right corner of the screen a moment ago, the Yami-san got that single frame trick once more, getting out of the skill while skipping the animation. Yeah, twice in a row is fantastic. Good stuff.
So say that doll or that scout that we had up until now, well, it's time to get a much better one, and we're just going to buy a level 30 scout, which is Amdusias SC, which appears to be level 30 to use. And it's just one of the best scouts in the game. Bears the ones that you have to craft yourself. So the reason why it's so good is because all of the armor of the Amdusias has thermal up damage, and all the damage that we're going to do with our skill is thermal. So it works out really, really nicely. On top of that, it has some really, really good range attack. So we're just going to use that, and most of our time we're going to do that.
Yeah. The weapons that I was mentioning, I'm not sure. I may have mentioned a couple names here and there. Things like Phoenix, Heat Horn, Fire Gun. All of these weapons, as their name implies, they all do element damage. And so having all of the heat buffs we can get just makes it that much. You recall we also got the double heat up Phoenix. I think the English version calls it thermal. You can see heat there in the Japanese, the English heat text. But just having all of those, I don't think there is any cap on buffs. Is there? I know I've gotten up to several 100% casually.
I don't know such gaps in this game, and even the damage gap in this game is absolutely high.
Yeah.
If you can reach that, there's people that have, I think.
Really?
No, actually, no.
No, I was gonna say I don't think that cap is reachable, but.
No, it's not, because there is still a heavy hitter leaderboard, and no, they haven't reached that yet. I don't think it's possible, but like
there's you can just really drive the damage through the roof, and that's what we're doing with the specific weapons that Yamagishi-san supporters have been collecting throughout the run.
Fun fact: even if this there is a damage cap, there is an enemy that is higher, that has more HP than the damage cap. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And it still gets one RKO.
The power of
This
overdrive.
game can get really absurd
Yeah.
with damage output.
Mm-hmm. I think it's cool. I think it's nice that they just let it go up and let people see how far up they can drive it.
Yeah, and I think that's why this game is still like very popular with people still playing it to this day, is because like there is
Yeah.
just so much you can farm and set up. It's really crazy how much you can do in this game, despite it
it's
being
really
single player.
right. Yeah, you finish. I mean, you finish the story, and you save after clearing, but there is still, obviously there are the tyrants. There's lots of stuff to explore. Even to this day, as I was looking around, exploring the places that Yamagishi-san visits in his run to see, what sort of stuff is there, I found several locations that I had never encountered exploring casually. The location pops up, and I said, "Wow, I was never here before." It is huge, this game, and I love all of the detail that they put into it. I loved playing. I loved exploring, just going out, not worrying about quest stuff, just finding all of the stuff that they put in the world. Really well done. I totally understand why people still play it. Why the online community is still as active as it is after 6 years now, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So you could see right there that was a phoenix that we could see. So it's just a giant ball of fire
Yes.
that is
Yes.
going to have
お
enormous
着陸成功し
AoE.
ました。
There he goes again, showing off
Keeps
that
on
single
hitting.
frame accuracy.
So
お
yeah, there is that the giant ball of fire that is huge AoE, and this is like it's very good damage output by itself, and then you've got all the thermal damage up. That it really makes that art like one of the best you can get in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
I don't think I ever found Phoenix casually. I saw it used in a speedrun and said, "Wow, what is that amazing thing?"
I had that casually, just randomly on someone else's skill, and I was seeing it deal that much damage. I was like, "Wow, I don't know what this art is." Casually,
Yep.
It was-
Yeah.
yeah, I just had one randomly, but yeah, like Phoenix is actually compulsory in order to finish the offline run. I don't think it's that compulsory in online, but it's still very important.
It does help, yeah.
So it's time to finally continue the story now that we've done a lot of the exploration and gotten our skill. It's time to go back to story. And so chapter 7 is just, well, actually very short. At this point, story is, well, going to be very short.
To be fair, yes. We're going to just destroy everything that gets in our way, so.
9章
いや
のチャプター9の新しいチャートが新しいルートが成功したら多分世界出せます。
So it's there's Phoenix again, by the way. But yes, that's Yamagishi-san commenting that if Chapter 9 route works out as he hopes it does, we have a good chance at world record here. So fingers crossed for that. I'm definitely looking forward to see how that works out.
So one problem you can have with Phoenix, with base Phoenix, is that you can have some hit and miss, because the accuracy isn't really that great. I don't know if it's MDCS itself or just Phoenix. And so I believe that the trigger deals that supporters got have some accuracy up, which is going to greatly help all those fights that Yamagishi is doing. Oh, and
Accuracy, yeah.
yeah, that guy just died because scouts.
Yep.
And so every time you use an art in scale, you have a random chance of getting the cockpit mode, which is going to actually make you invincible during cockpit, and is going to refresh all your arts. And considering Scale have some really poor cooldowns, it's really good to get it. Usually,
Most of the time. Sometimes it's just a time loss. We're just about to finish the fight anyway, and now I have to sit through this animation. Yeah, but definitely, usually when you see it, it's like, oh yes, we got it. So yeah, finishing up chapter 7 just like that. But yes, as you were mentioning, Legrand, accuracy is one of the specific things that the supporters look for when they're farming those skill weapons. There's a specific set of things we want to see. Want to see at least 3 ranged accuracy up, and then we want to see as many ranged power and heat element, thermal element damage up as we can find. And so that's as you're going and searching for these weapons, essentially what the supporters are doing, they're finding a specific enemy that drops them and just repeatedly killing them over and over. Often using Phoenix because you can get multiple enemies at once. But just you kill them all. You go through your treasure list and see, okay, are there any weapons A of the kind we need, and B, if we did get them, do they have the augments that we need? And if you find one, you share that in Yamagishi-san's text channel. Say I got whatever, and if you don't, you just try again. And it is repetitive, but it's fun to do it. Participating, it's fun because you're kind of again interacting with the run as it's going on, and just that just really puts a different flavor on it than just ordinary farming. I've done it 2 or 3 times now with Yamagishi-san's runs, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's also very unique, and I don't think there's any runs that has something similar like that. Or just have the runner on the side, or just doing other stuff completely independently as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I first heard that Yamagishi-san was doing this run, and I was thinking about it especially after we started talking about could I help with translation and stuff, and obviously I'm happy to do that. Delighted to help share this run with more people, but I was thinking about that. Oh, okay.
As far as you're kind of supposed to do it on foot, but you can just run it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just get back at your scale and everything dies. But yeah, I was thinking about how can I explain what makes this run different, and I couldn't come up with any good comparisons because it is so unique the way the runner and the supporters interact in this in the run. I love it. I think it's a great, unique thing about this run.
For sure,
it's a lot of fun.
And like it can take a bit to set up as well, because as we explained, you have to have, if you want to fully exploit all the features that online has, you have to have boosted Pathfinder. You need supporters. You need a good internet connection as well, because you can get randomly disconnected sometimes. But it once you get everything set up, it's really fun and interesting. And it makes for a really interesting routing as well, because like what YMG-C did is just very interesting, exploiting all the features of online like he did. Like I don't think there's any features that is not used in this run, which is
pretty sure. Yeah, he uses scout rentals. He uses the treasure deals. He uses the reward tickets. I mean, I think the only thing we don't touch on is the world enemies, but that wouldn't really get you anything for the run anyway. So
yeah. So there is one more thing with online features that, as Vexor said, the world bosses. So you can have multiple main characters joining to fight to do quests, and the world boss appears, which is basically Telesia, and he has like, I don't know, multiple thousands of HP bars, and the world all the online world is supposed to take down this health, and so every attempt is like dealing with, like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 hundreds of life bars. And every life bar is going to count down towards the full HP bar of the world boss, and can be. I feel like it's pretty fun to try and set up yourself to deal with that and deal as much damage as possible with a team. So like you've got 4 characters all set up properly to deal maximum amount of damage. It's gonna be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's just another way to to kind of test out how well do you understand the battle system, how far can you push it, and to see how far you go. I can't go very far, to be honest. I've only just been learning, just watching some of your runs, hearing your explanations, now watching Yamagishi-san's runs as well. Finally understanding how some of these things like overdrive, for example, actually work.
Yeah.
But it really is such a deep set of systems they've developed for this game, and it's fascinating to see how far people can push that when they really try.
On top of that, it's really rewarding every time you use like say overdrive. Once you use that effectively, it's really fun to use because you're just pressing buttons all the time and
一
Trying-
フレ技成功しました。
Yamagishi-san showing off.
フレーム
See,
パール
that's where he's gonna get his time save. He's just gonna get all these one phrase. He's gonna save 3 seconds every time he does one of these.
調子がいいです。
いいですね。ぜひ頑張ってください。
頑張る。
So we just saved the cat, by the way, and now we can have a cat in our barrack. It's completely irrelevant to the story, but it was a necessary mission.
Yes, absolutely necessary.
And it's actually relevant for 100% because there is some heart-to-hearts in this game that we're never going to see in this run. And some heart-to-hearts require you to have either a cat or a dog in your
A cat or
barrack.
a dog. Yep.
And it was a pain to figure out how to route that properly.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Because you barely ever go to the barracks at the end in the end game, and so changing from cat to dog to get heart-to-hearts is
Huge
was a
time
massive
waste, yeah.
headache for me.
I can imagine. Yep.
And the 100 so we can talk a bit about that while
Sure,
we just
yeah.
do some side questing nonsense. So this is the quest where we need to enter and lead, by the way, which we already have because cat rewards. So in this game, as I explained, there is an exploration percent you can get, and so 100% is just getting 100% completion on the war map, and it takes about 20 hours or so, including killing famously known Felicia boss fight. And it's a very interesting run. If you are ever interested in well, at least going through the route, it can be really fun. I'd really recommend it if anyone wants to check it out.
Yeah, routing
Because
is. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it's going to show you all that the game has to offer because, like, the main story is kind of bland and there isn't much going on yet. But when you get to see all the side quests, all the lore, all the content that the game has to offer, is probably like one of my favorite of all the Xenoblade games because there is just so much going on in the game through all the side quests and the world building. It's really cool.
Yeah, I have to agree with that as well. That I'll be honest. I put it down for a while when I was about halfway through the main story, just because it didn't really grab me. But when I think it was when I saw you running it, like, maybe I'll take a look again. And then a week later, my playtime had jumped like 40 hours. Because it's just once I started really opening things up and looking around the rest of the world, finding the side quests, the little things hidden in corners. That really give you insight into what's happened on Mira. It just really that made it a lot more worth, a lot more enjoyable to experience. And yeah, it's that is one of the things that I like about 100% runs in general. Is that even if you are skipping cutscenes and you still get a taste, a much better taste of what the what this game's environment is, what sort of ideas that the developers have, what sort of things that they want you to experience, than you do just going straight through and defeating all the bosses, calling it.
Yeah. It's really it's a big shame for this game, especially because the main story is just like another set of Infinity Mission. If you look at it in a certain way, with with like a certain story going on throughout the chapters, but it's mostly just an Infinity Mission. It's
Yeah.
So fun fact, it's time for loads. So you can just look at how long this load is going to take, and yeah, it's normal. It just takes forever. This mission is just load.
Yeah, I wonder if perhaps they were trying to they wanted to put in a quick cutscene, so they said we didn't need any loading bar, and they took out the cutscene and forgot to add the loading bar back. Because
Actually, if you wait for cutscenes, the loading, there is no loading bar. There's only a loading bar when you load to an area. So it's just that for some reason those two cutscenes takes forever to load. It's just so weird. I think it's because like they're changing all of NLA setup, because right now the mission setup is that NLA is being attacked by the Ganglions, which is the big bad aliens that actually destroyed the interiors in the first place, and they caught up with us, so we had to fight back and survive.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now it's time for 3 minutes of defend the colony.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh wait, no, not the colony, the new LA. Oh my god. I'm making too many Xenoblade 1 references.
Close enough, who knows? Maybe Shulk will come to our rescue. But yeah, this wonderful 3 minutes. You have 3-minute timer there. In theory, that is fighting off enemies as new ones spawn in every once in a while. In reality, we just kill everything as soon as it spawns, and so most of it is just sitting here and waiting.
休憩時間です。
お疲れ様です。
Rest time.
Yes, yeah, this is as you see, Yamagishi-san's just taking it easy. Nothing to do.
There is one thing he needs to do, is that while in this mission you can't have a scout, so you will have to take on the boss fight and those the subsequent fight all alone by itself. So you have two options. You can either use your scout, but it's kind of like you don't quite have the damage output to deal with the boss with just one art rotation with your scout. So the other option is to set up overdrive with Alma. We're still able to use that. Oh my god, showing off.
Showing off.
You're too good.
That's 3 in a row. Yeah. And this is Yamagishi-san, folks. This is how good he is.
And yeah, so I think he's setting up to deal with the boss fight with overdrive. I know in offline we don't do it with human overdrive, but instead we do it with scale overdrive, because scales can also build not TP but JP, and then they can get into overdrive, and that gives a much higher chance to get a cockpit mode. And so we hope for that to get like double 2 Phoenixes.
So yeah, it looks like we got about a minute. If GK, if you have anything you want to interject in this minute, go ahead.
All right.
Oh, you did, GK?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was my microphone was doing weird things.
今プラス2分49秒なんで、ここから9章がうまくいけば多分プラマイゼロぐらいになると思います。
Okay, it's a quick announcement from Yamigishi-san that we're plus 249 at the moment, so hopefully Chapter 9 will bring us back to even. So, whoops, sorry about that, GK. Looks like we're going to be going into the boss quick in a moment. So, we'll call you back again. I think we may have one more chance
All
for that
good.
later. But,
Yeah. Take your time with everything that's been going on. It's been kind of putting
Yeah.
things a little bit of
it is
standstill.
that is kind of the one quick break in short break in what is otherwise a fairly busy run.
Nice.
After that, nice quick kill, and then we have. I believe this is just the boss fight up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, a few cutscenes because this mission is just cutscene mission.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mission objective: skip cutscene, skip cutscene, skip cutscene.
まずはダガンとリーズを一刻も早く倒すのが重要です。
Yeah, this is again we're going to be seeing. This is I think it's going to be the last overdrive that we see in this run. With the recent reroute, so you can take a look at just watch his arts usage as he goes through this fight. So quick bit of setup here. Again, configuring the particular arts that we're going to be using during the overdrive. Just completely ignoring all the other enemies because we're not worried about them. We're just worried about the boss.
Yep. As always, if you kill the general, then everything else just dies.
Yep.
That's how things works.
It just ceases to exist.
Let's see. Double boss fight at the same time, and we're going to set up overdrive again. So it's kind of always the same opening. So you do Green Art into Sliding Cigar to build in timer, and then Shadowrunner to get a big boost of damage because that gives potential up, and some timer, and then you get enough TP and GG.
Yes, and you saw how we would not have time to explain all of that during the fights. Because once it starts going, it is just art after art after art.
Yeah.
Good job, Yamagishi done.
It's really fun to do art rotations in overdrive because it just goes so fast. You just keep on pressing buttons, and you also have to press the card buttons if you want things to work out. So you have to know what you're doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just pressing buttons because you can press buttons.
Yep.
And it gets even better because like there's a skill that you can get. Well, there's augments and skills that you can get in order to get cooldowns reduction on top of the overdrive reduction, to the point where you just don't have any more cooldown if you want to set that up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like by the time you finish using the art is already back up, so you can just spam that button if you are in post game setup. It just becomes really, really absurd.
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
There is even a setup where you can make it so you deal damage whenever you press the overdrive button, and then whenever you press the overdrive button, you can get 3000 TP, and so you can just mash that overdrive button to deal damage.
That's great. That is
it's
great.
not good because that's not very good damage output, but it's really funny because you're just mashing to win.
Yep. Yeah. It's really fascinating how some of these all the Xenoblade games have really complex battle systems like this, and it's really fascinating to see what can be done with them when you really push them to their limits. It's a similar thing I know in the Torna expansion to Xenoblade 2, which I run. At the end of the game, you set yourself up so that you can just mash your special button over and over and over, and it's fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just special. Hi, we win.
So now that we're done with chapter 8, we can go on to chapter 9. Impressive, I know. And chapter 9 is one of the more interesting chapters in the game. Because, we've seen big monsters, we've seen big robots, but we don't have we have yet to see like very giant mix, right? Oh, it's time. Actually, wait, is it time yet? I can't remember. Anyway.
That's actually chapter 10.
Yeah,
We'll be
it's
getting
chapter
there in a
10.
moment.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, I mistook that. Anyway, it's time to see Cat Boys. That's also important.
Yep. Well, we are actually probably not too far off from the end of the run because 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, we do have some side quests to do around 11, but the rest of them all go pretty quick.
Yeah. It goes very quick, but it also doesn't go as quick as you would expect sometimes. So it's finally time to. So this is the first time we ever have a mission to do in Celadon. And because that's also supposed to be like the first time you ever visit Celadon, like you just landed there, and now it's time for the first chapter mission here. But you can just get here earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah, casually I got to this point and said, "No, let's go to Sylvalum." I said, "Actually, I've already been there. I've already been all around there."
シャゲルパッドのソウルボイス出ろよ。
Not having good soul voice luck, it seems.
So this time around, we have to deal this fight, but without scale. But we still have a scout, so it's fine.
Yep.
Yet again.
出ない。OK。
Just like that.
Worked out. Yep.
Perfect.
Always trust the scout.
And so even if our main character dies, Elma, we have 30 seconds in order to finish the mission. So as long as our scout manages to finish
Perfect.
to deal with them, it's just yeah. Easy.
Well, that was that. Chapter 9 did not used to be that fast. So yeah, this is the power of routing.
世界は無理っぽいな。これ。
It looks like PB may be a little bit tough to reach, but it sounds like we have saved a lot of time. That used to be another fight where you used overdrive, and Yami-san's spores were all working out. You know, how can we avoid that? How can we just use a scout for that? And they, as you can see, they worked it out. That was a pretty close to a perfect fight there. Both of those. So now we're getting to our giant robots. In a moment. We're almost there.
So we still have a few side quests to do before being able to do to do chapter 10. We have 2 actually, if I remember correctly.
Oh, were those before 10? I thought they were between 10 and 11, but yeah, you know the run better than I do. I shall not
sure.
dispute. Yeah.
I am not sure anymore. You're probably right though. I don't know.
We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, and there is at least 1 side quest here, and then there is 2 on chapter 10, right?
That may be it.
Yeah. Oh well.
I know.
Side
Yeah,
quest
Gwyn is,
2?
ゴールドは出たけど。
Oh, nice.
well, got a gold on chapter 9. So
うん。チェック、セグメント PB は出た。
gold split, as we call them, a fastest time he's ever done chapter 9 before, and he's done a lot of runs. So shows the improvement that he's been able to make. Ah, yes, this is where we finally get the flight. We can turn our big car robots into plane robots.
That's next chapter.
That's also next chapter.
Yeah. So we got this next chapter is Celica, also known as Best Girl, and Flight.
Yes. Okay. Right.
This one is spy games where we have to wait. No, spy games. Spy games we already did. I remember. Trust me, I remember what.
That's okay.
Wait, no, it is Celica, and it is a flight module. What am I talking about? I'm thinking
Okay.
of chapter behind. Yeah. Okay, never mind. My brain.
Oh yeah.
Is,
Okay. Oh, that's perfectly understandable. We went through chapter 9 so fast you probably missed it.
Yeah. So yeah, now that we've dealt with the enemies that were that tried to capture in LA, we're trying to find a girl and a big giant thing accompanying her, and we found such signatures in none of them. And turns out it's not the bad guys; it's good guys. It's Rock and Silica, or just civilians trying to survive. And, yeah, we're just going to help them out.
That sounds like a fine plan. Thank you, Phoenix.
Thank you, Phoenix.
And so yeah, just a reminder that while loadings are happening, because this is a Wii U game, the gamepad is still active. And so you can do stuff on the gamepad while the game is in loading. So that's what YMG is doing on the webcam.
Once again, I just like to call it that. That's fantastic designs. Anything that that keeps the player active, as much as possible. And it's one of the things people like to pay on the Wii U's gamepad and the Wii system a lot, but this is one of the things it makes possible, and I love it. It's that is honestly one of my greatest annoyances with most modern games is that they are full of loading screens and you can't do anything during the loading screen. And this game shows why it's okay to have loading screens as long as you're doing something, as long as you have something to do.
So it is indeed time to finally be able to fly. And yeah, now that once we can fly, we will be able to do to go wherever we want, and do whatever we want. It's great.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's really, really broken, so you kind of understand why it's so late in the game that you get it.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
As frustrating as it can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will admit that to an extent, I think I liked. I think the slower I was going, I liked better the exploration, just because it forced me to take time to look around. Whereas, especially if you're flying, it's just you're just flying over everything. You don't really pay attention to it. So it's kind of the enforced slowness kind of makes you, as a casual player, say, okay, maybe I'll take a look into this nook or that cranny. Whereas if you're flying, you just say, I'm just going to go in a straight line to wherever I'm going and ignore everything.
Yep, that's very much it. Yeah, that's how I feel too. When I thought about it a little bit, I felt like it's fine not to have flight. I think the biggest problem is that they just tease flying at the very, very start of the game, and you only get it at the very end of the story, and it's just like kind of frustrating at this point.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
And so yeah, we can finally fly and get there, and now we can go back to finish the quest. And fun fact, it's also the fastest movement speed that you can have is flight. So we're pretty much just always going to fly from now on.
Mm-hmm.
It also doesn't help that the Amdusias being a heavy scale doesn't have that much speed, and it's also very hard to maneuver around. Which we can work out, because you can just undo vehicle mode and then turn around and then redo the vehicle mode to do sharp ankles.
Right.
So it kind of works out, but overall, like, the maneuverability of the Amdusias is not really great.
Yeah, I know trying to drive around in skeleton vehicle mode is something I have a bit of difficulty with. You know, when you can get it good, it goes nice and smoothly. But trying to get those tight curves or go exactly where you want to go. I often just end up standing up and walking.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, that's interesting because you always kept the enthusiasm on match. He's kept despite the Affinity mission. And yeah, in offline, since you give the skill to cross the main character, because it's just much faster and better. You have to reassign your scale back after the flight mission, but here you don't have to do it.
Ah, yes.
Very cool. So now, yeah, it's finally time to fight a big robot. Like a really big robot.
Yep.
Like a really, really big robot.
Yes. Yes. You cannot emphasize enough.
Yep. It's called the Zufar, and it's supposed to be the ultimate weapon of the Ganglions, but it's being stolen by the two bad guys that we fought earlier. I can't remember their name.
Dagon and Reese. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Reese is the girl and Dagon is the beast. They kind of didn't like losing, and so they want to lose again. Well, they don't want to lose again, but they will. Spoilers.
And casually, it's kind of just a big battle where you've got 4 scouts versus 1 giant mega robot. But in a speedrun, it's just a tiny boy with 2 pea shooters against the giant robot, and somehow that wins.
And somehow the giant robot doesn't do quite as well as you might think.
Yep.
Nice.
And it also has one of my
nice,
favorite
yeah.
themes in the game.
Yeah. So, by the way, if you noticed, Yami-san also there pointed out nice that Scout was able to build up TP on that fight. That's so he started battle with that one enemy before getting into the scale, and what that does, the Scout will then stay on the ground to continue fighting that enemy and building up TP, because we want the Scout to have TP for this next fight. As Legrand was saying earlier, the TP skills are the ones that do the real damage, and so being able to start with extra TP just makes it that much faster.
Yeah.
So, big robot.
And whoever says big robot means also really, really lots of HP. But Scout.
No more big robot.
Well, phase 1.
Well, phase 1, yes. We have to do it. We get to do it twice. We get to make the big robot go away twice.
This time it's on the ground, and it's it changed a bit.
Okay.
Wow.
No more big robot.
Normal.
And so after this, the Zufar is actually going to be crashing on the lake scale that we visited earlier with all the coordinates. And it's going to stay there forever. So yeah.
Yep.
And so I've talked about exploration and affinity missions requirements in order to finish the game. But there is also a level requirement, and it's at this point you need to be level 40 in order to do the final quest that requires that has a level requirement, and it's Gwen's final affinity mission. Sorry. So we have to do that before ending the game.
Another one of the required optional side quests. Yeah, 41. There it is.
41.
Yeah, it's the, and that is why we get level 38 when we do earlier in the run, because it sets us up to be just the right level to accept this quest and finish things off. So yeah, so Gwyn is not. So Gwyn gets a taste of the Phoenix, and that's all he needed. And
お、1フレーム技が成功しましたね。
yeah, Yamagishi-san's got this down.
フレームパーフェクトが全部成功しました今日は。
He's hit all his frame perfect inputs today. This is yeah, it's on a roll.
And so, in order to finish this mission, we have to kill 3 sets of suits. And we have to do so while Gwyn starts the fight with his guns. And once he does, we can just kill them with Phoenix, and it's going to count towards the kills. If he doesn't use his guns, then it's not going to count towards the kills. So we just can't go there and just press in Phoenix and believe it will work. We can have to wait a little bit. And so the first set of suits were here, and now we have another one to do at the northern part of Primordia. Flying for all the way down here.
Flying, yeah, you could call it flying, I guess. What is it they say about flying? It's falling at the ground and missing.
Yeah, just like that.
All those treasure chests we have no need of because we've already got what we need to finish the run.
Yeah, that extra thermal damage actually really helps with the range on those suits, because otherwise you really struggle with killing them. Like they have a really high chance of staying alive with really little HP left.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's a pain to deal with all of them again.
Yeah, that's why it's just so useful to get those those weapons with the augments. It's why it's one of its big part of the online runs. Find those, to have people who know where to get them, and also can also check for those and get them to you. So yeah, it's Gwyn's mission done, and I think that's just all we have left is chapters 11 and 12, right?
Yep.
Yep, and here it is, chapter 11. Well, there is one more fun thing which you're going to see shortly. And I don't want to spoil it until we get there, but it's probably going to, if you haven't seen it before, it's going to make you probably do a double take. So what just happened? Well, I'm sure you've seen this, Legrand, but try to ratchet up the excitement for everybody watching the way we get to the chapter 11 boss. Let me put it that way.
Oh yeah, I know how it works. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So again, I think this is now going to be our final scout for both chapters 11 and 12. So a couple of cutscenes, and this is I think the first time the story takes you to Cauldros.
Yep.
So
The first time
obviously,
you probably
you probably explored here on your own by the time you get here, but first time the story requires you to go there.
Yeah, you need 15% exploration on Cold Rose in order to start chapter 11.
I see. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Which really isn't that hard to do, but very thankfully, because Cold Rose is a pain to explore.
It is a bit, yeah. With all the lava and everything.
Yeah, and the bigger problem as well is that even if you're at max level, there's still enemies that can target you, so you're constantly
Right.
being attacked by enemies because they're all
Yes, yeah, all over.
all expecting you to be level 40. So yeah, it's or yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's okay. We're just going to head to
Yeah. So chapter 11 is humanity's going on to we're going to the base of the ganglion here in Cauldros. And of course, it's a very large base, lots of people inside. It's going to take a long time to fight through. But such as speedruns, we do what we have to do. But
yeah, and so like where we have to go is actually inside that big dome. And so we are supposed to go through like kind of a dungeon, which is kind of cool. But instead, we're going to do glitchy stuff. And yeah, we're out of bound by
hello. Yep.
Success.
Yeah. So don't mind that random square of lava that just ends in the middle of nowhere. It's perfectly ordinary. Don't mind the fact that we're sort of flying through the middle of a wall. It's everybody does this. Happens all the time.
So that setup with like some specific geometry and switching from a scout to a human, it kind of messes up your position, and yeah, you can kind of just clip out of bound like that. It's pretty much the only glitch that exists in this game, but we finally have a use for it in the speedrun. Yeah. There's quite a few uses for this in casual playthroughs, farm some bosses. This is definitely the more useful one.
I remember for a time there was Yamagishi was looking at a similar sort of skip around chapter 5 or 6, but I think he ended up ratting that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a place where you get out of bounds, grab a key item from outside where you're supposed to get it, and skip getting into. I don't remember the details of it, but there was an out of bounds there.
あ、やばい。間違えた。
Uh-oh.
大丈夫か
It's
な
fine.
あ、大
So
丈夫。
this is progress.
Yep, that was progress.
So progress is basically Lao in the progress because he's a trader and he's trying to sell us to the ganglions. And this boss fight is very particular because eventually during the fight he starts using a barrier that is going to make you only be able to deal either range damage or physical damage. But because we don't want to deal with that as the scouts, we just kill him before he even gets to do that. That's a nice reroute by Yamagishi-san earlier this week, I think, as well.
Yeah, that was another recent change. We were talking about how you're trying to figure out the timing of when Progress uses that barrier, and working out how we can set up the scout to make sure we can deal that damage before the barrier comes up. And it worked out, yeah. And so all we have left is got to turn this chapter in and straight on to chapter 12 and the final bosses.
Yep. And once again, it's going to be Pray for Scout.
Yep.
Because like we could do it with our own character with Overdrive, right? Like we definitely have those DPS for it. It's just that Overdrive takes a little bit to set up. Like you have to build your count to up to 50, and then you can one shot. But when you've got a character that can just straight up one shot with no extra, because you just have so much better gear. Well, it's just much faster, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, it blew my mind seeing these these speed runs, offline and online both, but just seeing how the once the setup is in place, whether it's a scout with TP or overdrive with enough count, just seeing these bosses' HP bars melt away with a single art.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I was never able to, I never figured out overdrive playing casually. I was either single arts in ground or Skell, and so I was always doing Skell on the final bosses, and you can get damage, but as you were saying earlier, the art so long with the Skell weapons that it's just bit by bit by bit. I saw the speed run and just where did the HP bar go? What did I miss?
yeah. Yeah, basically scales are much better for really short fights, where you just kill it with one button, and for longer ones you need overdrive. And that's pretty much the story of how you deal damage in this game. Well, that is unless you've got these bombs on Layla, but yeah, it's a whole different story, I guess. You can really get some absurd setup, whether it's on foot or even with scales. You have some crazy stuff that it is.
ちょっと世界記録は難しそうですね。
Looks like world record maybe a little bit tough to hit, but we're gonna hope. Fingers crossed. Gonna see if we can
まあ最後ま
squeeze
で
out
頑張り
those
ます。
last few seconds.
やってください。
So if all of you in chat want to get into these final boss fights, help pray for the scout to finish the fight quickly. As we were saying earlier, this is this is not just the runner. This is everybody else helping out the runner finish the run as quickly as possible. So if all you want to pray for the scout to do their stuff, maybe we can still grab that new record.
Yeah, by the way, the flying song, absolute banger, once again.
Yep.
Curious, because I know if you don't know his work, for example, Xenoblade or anything else, well, you probably do know his work, but he's a really recognizable style and absolutely amazing. So when responsible for the OST of Attack on Titan or Mob Psycho, for example,
Right. Yes.
or Kill la Kill. It's definitely one of my favorite composer.
I mean, I will always say great things about the Xenoblade 1 and 2 soundtracks, but in in a completely different way. This one's fantastic as well.
Oh, for sure.
It's done some fantastic work with it.
It really fits the atmosphere as well.
It does, very much.
Yeah, as people are mentioning in chat, I guess it's time to talk about it. So, because like the bosses are going to go really fast. So the final boss is actually 5 fights that you have to do. So the two first phases are Vita. So the Vita, which is the giant robot we excavated in chapter 6, but it's taken control by the Ganglions. Then we'll have a funny little fight. And then the two final fights and get the final boss, and the very final fight, you actually can't use your scale, so you have to do it on foot. And if you've never learned how to overdrive, well, good luck. I know I finished. Yeah, I finished it without overdrive as well. I just had my cross with full healing guard and just lit edge for damage. It took forever, but I eventually won. Yeah, Scout, please. Scout. Scout.
Scout. Scout. Scout.
There we go.
Okay.
エクスキューションを打った瞬間に道路にスケルに乗ります。
So quick bit of timing there to get for Yamagi-san to get into his skill as soon as just at the very instant the scout hit overdrive, so that it'll be in his skill for the.
すると3戦目が5秒ぐらい速くなります。
This is what Legrand was mentioning earlier. Third fight, kind of an oddball. It's going to be a lot of nice quick action by the scout there. Going to be a lot of smaller enemies, and if you're in your scout to start with, you don't have to go through the animation of walking back and getting into it to use Phoenix. So it's just about a 5-second time save.
Yes, this fight is very much impossible without Phoenix, because there is 10 miss, and 10 miss is a lot of damage, even for Scout. So you just get in your Scout and you one-shot everything with Phoenix, and GG. And so we dealt with the bad guys, by the way. Right now, this is just the system defense of the life call, which, by the way, is what we've been looking for this whole game. We haven't really talked about the story, but I guess you can get to enjoy it yourself if you want to play this game.
Yep.
And now it's time to fight Lao. Kind of changed compared to before.
Well, minor details. Thank you, Scout. One more. Pray for
Come on,
Scout
Scout.
once more. Let's go, Scout.
Timer is coming up pretty soon. Once the
Yep, ready
final
on
boss-
time. As soon as Lao's HP bar disappears.
Here.
Come on, Scout. Come on,
GG
Scout. GG. Time.
3時間1分17秒です。
1分17秒ですか。
はい。
はい。お疲れ様でした。GG's.
お疲れ様でした。
So,
GG's.
yep. So GD
Got it.
to yeah. So Yamagishi-san said that's 3:01:17 on his timer. So didn't quite reach world record, but still it's a very solid time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was like, what,
Excellent
a minute
time.
and a half off?
Yeah.
Very well done.
World record I think 2:59:40. Yep. Fantastic run.
So real quick, so we've been getting some donations. We've been trying off and on for the tracker. We did actually get one to come through. It was just $16 from Mokomichi USA that just says from the Japanese restream. So big shout outs to the
Thank you.
Japanese restream for putting
Yeah.
this.
Shout out to Japanese restream. ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。なんか挨拶してもいいですかね。
そうですね。With now that the run's done, Yamagishi-san has a few words he'd like to say. I'm going to translate for him as he goes. So, Yamagishi-san, どうぞ。
はい、こんにちは、こんばんは、皆さん。私は日本のプレイヤーの山岸と言います。ちょっと英語が下手なので、バックサハードさんに翻訳してもらうことにしました。協力してくれてありがとうございます。
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Japanese player Yamagishi. My English isn't very good, so I've asked Vaxer to translate for me, and I'd like to thank him for his help.
まず最初に、今回の欄を見せる機会を与えてくれた主催の皆さんに感謝します。私がこのゲームが大好きであるっていうことが少しでも伝われば幸いです。見てくれた皆さん、応援ありがとうございました。
First off, I'd like to thank Questing for Glory for allowing me to show off this run. I hope you've all seen how much I love this game. Thank you for watching me and cheering me on.
私は一時期、ちょっと精神的な病気で苦しんでいる時期がありました。たまたまこのゲームのスピードランをやってたんですが、サポートしてくれる皆さんと交流したり、その優しさに触れていくうちに少しずつ良くなっていきました。今日のランで協力してくれたワドさん、ゼノブレードオモロイドさん、ヨシットさん、レフさん、解説協力してくれたレグランドさん、バックサードさん、また日本語解説を受け持ってくれたブルーさん、あとドネーションをくださった皆さんありがとうございました。
There was a time that I previously suffered from mental illness. While running this game, I began interacting with the players who helped during their run, and their kindness helped me with my condition. Thank you to Wado, Yoshi-T, Xenoblade Omoroid, and Lev, the players who helped during today's run. To the Grand and Vaxherd for commentary. To Blue, who commentated for the Japanese stream, and for everyone who donated during the run.
皆さんがみんな同じようなきっかけがあって良くなるとは限りませんが、私の欄を見ることで少しでも日々の疲れが取れたり、ストレスが発散できたりすると、今日のような チャリティーイベントで走ってる意味もあったかなと思います。
I know not everyone might have the same opportunity as I did, but if watching my run has at least helped ease your daily stress or lift your spirits, then I feel like maybe it was worth it to run this game at this sort of charity event.
精神的に苦しんでいる方を応援しています。解決はできない問題かもしれませんが、問題とうまく寄り添っていけるように、生きることを諦めないでください。何がきっかけで良くなるか、僕のように予想外のところから良くなるかもしれません。私一人の力ではほんの少ししか協力できませんが、今回間接的にでもサポートできる機会をいただけたことに改めて感謝します。ありがとうございました。
I'd like to offer encouragement to anyone who's suffering from mental illness. Even if your problems seem unsolvable, please don't give up on living with them. You may find a solution in an unexpected place, as I did. I may not be able to do much by myself, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to offer my support, even if only indirectly. Thank you very much.
これからもいろんなゲームを楽しんでいきましょう。今はちょっと楽しめないという方も、また楽しめる日が来ることを応援しています。
So let's enjoy all the different games that are out there. And for those who have trouble enjoying things right now, my best wish is that you'll be able to find that enjoyment soon.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。バックサードさんありがとうございました。レグランドさんありがとうございました。
And thank you, Yamagishi, for the... Yes.
ありがとうございました。
And thank you, Yamagishi-san, for the fantastic run and for the wonderful comments. I'm sure everyone appreciates them. And of course, thank you all. And thank you from myself to, obviously to Legrand for great commentary, to Questy Flory also for allowing this run to be shown, because as I think you've seen, it's a great run. It's a great game, and it's a great, fascinating run. And I'm glad we had a chance to show this off to people.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's it for me. Legrand, if you have anything.
I think that's mostly it. If you'd like to run Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade X, Xenosaga or Xenogears, you can join in our community Discord and hang out with people. There's very knowledgeable people, and they'll be happy to help out and teach you the way.
Yep. Yeah, the Xenoblade Discord is a great place. A lot of fun people there. So yep, I think that'll do it for all of us. Thank you very much.
Very well done, everyone. Congrats on the run. So coming up next, we're going to be having Suikoden 2 by RJS Manjit. So stay tuned for that.
次のゲームは幻想水湖伝2です。